And just like that, we return once again to another session of Sunday of the Unfortunate Sons, session 43, A Feast for Insanity. Insanity? You know what? I'm going insane over here.
Insanity at the
Yes.
feast.
Too many things have gone on. The world is falling apart, and I don't just mean outside, but in D&D as well. So let's take a moment, rewind the clock, and take a second to look back on what our dear and beloved party managed to do in last session.
I'm also curious.
Exactly, as Kez found himself like a Pokemon, used almost completely and exclusively like a Pokemon for the last 2 sessions. But as we return once more, actually more like a super potion, but yeah, the party last time, having left off, found themselves camping a little further back out from where their final destination was. Finally, having finished off the last of the Chonksters and having done some work on cutting up the creatures and working them into a few items as the party developed some armor, some shields, and a few other things. Eider would lead the party in a quick and fast charge up towards the supposed Frosty Willy, as the party would find out his name would be. Heading up towards this strange spring that had a unique magical aura to it, seemingly glimmering and pushing out all that was divine and glowing with arcane energies as it steamed. The party got closer and closer to the unique hot springs. As they found themselves exploring and looking around the hot springs, in the background, another adventurer, one who seemed to be related, or potentially just a happenstance look-alike of Kez, was lurking, watching, and doing his own research upon the island. As Eider, and Dom and Ned headed up towards the edge of the water, looking at it and taking a second, quite quickly they would find themselves attacked and encircled by not only the Frosty Willy himself, a gargantuan-sized frostworm that nearly killed Eider for the second time on this island, causing him to go down, I think he went down twice during session, roughly?
No, only went down one time.
That's right, it was Dom that kept going back down, I think that was it. But
well, Ned is the one that's been the punching bag.
That's true. Ned finally not being the punching bag, the biggest success in session, as the party found themselves being breathed on with frost breath that was quite dangerous, leading Dom and Eider to both go down and find themselves risking a lot more than they initially expected. With a newfound explorer showing up, healing Ned, who was quickly running away, having finished off the smaller of the two frostworms, to return back and try and get some help. Zek, our supposed helper or assistance that the party did not find at all strange, or just really truly didn't have a moment to process, as he showed up healing Ned and beginning to work his way up towards Dom and Eider. Getting the party back and healthy, Eider made a quick attack over towards the Crismal alongside Dom, and between the two of them, managing to kill the Crismal as well as the large Frosty Willy himself. Not shortly after, the party found themselves immediately teleported with the corpses back to Zebral's own stronghold, finding themselves able to relax as the corpses were collected. Zebral there to greet them and let them know that a feast would be held to celebrate their newfound achievements and to enjoy themselves in town for the next, I think it was like a week, roughly. Let me double check. Oh no, yeah, for roughly about a week. As the party found themselves enjoying them and relaxing, Eider locking himself away as he began crafting prototypes of his new items. Dom trying to figure out more what to do with their arm in the background, as well as doing quite a bit of training. And Kez taking a quick run away and heading off to Nolatham's lands before the feast, returning after a moment of shopping and checking out the town itself. we return back in the year, well, still it's technically 65,007. The month still of the harvest, and about roughly, let me do my math here, the 18th of the July, which is July. Oh, sorry, I'm all cut back because I had a different date and I just realized I screwed that up. My apologies on that. As we return back, though, still mid-July, with the party finding themselves waking up in the tavern of the Dancing... Oh, sorry, the Dancing Mark. Coming down from their bunks, having been kind of separated for the last week as you lot have been going off and doing your own bits of downtime while in town. Kez having gotten out of Eider's forge space and deciding to go off on his own, as mentioned. And Ned, who has yet to return from his mission, telling you all that he would return when it was time to leave once more. And until then, he would be gone, leaving you three to enjoy the town and do as you wish. No, it is not Thundertooth. Thundertooth is the smithy.
Okay.
Yeah. The inn was Dancing Mark. Yeah, so that's why I messed up. Yeah, no, the fear as each of you sit down to enjoy some breakfast, what looks to be a stew is served of woolly mule, as well as a fire boar specialty at the inn today. I imagine Kez still enjoying his jar of jelly beans, regardless of whatever's brought out as he sits there.
Jelly beans are pretty great. It's the only thing that actually gives me a sense of taste. Everything else is
utility.
I'm not even. I can't even describe what it tastes like. It's the absence of taste. How do you even describe that?
Almost like a watery.
No, because even water has a taste. It tastes like water. You know.
I mean, that's a fair point. Yeah. No.
I have to imagine it'd be like if you're maybe your tongue was numb, so all you feel is not even. It's you feel textures, but there's no.
For you, it's a texture thing. Yeah, it's it's definitely a texture thing as you kind of chew, getting a thing of meat that you don't really care if it's flavored. Kind of looking at it as you see some red sauce, recognizing the hot and spicy sauce, knowing it won't do anything for you. As you kind of look at it and hope, like a coal miner in the olden days, tasting nothing as you suddenly carve into it and start chewing on it, tossing a jelly bean in with it.
Got that the ambrosia salt, maybe that's what I need.
It does burn the back of the throat, but otherwise Kez, to his disappointment, still does not taste the flavor.
It takes fire damage. I can't taste it. I need something so hot that it actually does actual damage to me if I want to feel something.
That was lava, man.
Well, when stuff is hot, right, it's it's not because it has a flavor. It's because it's just actually hurting you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true.
I wonder if mint would work too then.
That is a good question. As you kind of find yourselves sitting around the table enjoying yourselves, an individual seems to come walking over as you recognize Vel herself in what looks to be a different form today, aspiring to look more of a dragonkin appearance. A beautiful gown kind of worn across or on her that seems to glimmer in the tavern light as she walks over, handing you lot a letter and recognizing the seal from Zebral's invitation. She kind of sets it down and smiles at you lot and goes, "As my liege has requested, I offer you an invitation to today's banquet. While it may be an invitation, I hope you understand your attendance is requested specifically alongside the attendance of a few others."
You'll be pleased to know Ned is outside of the hive at the moment.
That is exactly why great Kabir Zebral has decided to place such an ordeal at this time.
I just kind of nod. It's yep, that checks out.
Yeah, there's a number of reasons that would be a smart idea. Dom doesn't say that out loud. He just thinks it.
She looks over at Kez and goes, and you will be excited to hear, young Kezdanok, that Lord Zebril himself has decided to task his chefs with trying to accomplish the most flavorful food to see if he can adapt your curse and allow you to taste something of uniqueness other than the jelly beans. I hope you'll try a little bit of everything tonight, is what he had requested.
Well, I shan't refuse the great Zebril now, can I?
It would not be wise to turn down such a mighty leader.
Guys, this is freaking fantastic.
We've heard about the jelly beans. We're still not trying them.
Why not? Well, maybe not you, Eider, but Dom.
Flashbacks to those poor goblins.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Dom watched a bug and like goblins explode and go mad and become drug addicts in a matter of seconds and like kill each other. And Dom just
you are even gianter than I am, and I'm fine.
I don't think I am the person you want to risk going crazy. And I gesture to the pelt, and I gesture to my graphs.
Whatever you were about to say, Eider, listen, I'm just as insane as I was before I started eating the beans.
Actually, that's not true. Slightly more.
No, that's not true.
I was about to say, it's like, you definitely are addicted to those things.
Not really. I mean, hey, listen, if you had a sense removed from you, and there's one thing in the world that lets you experience that sense, yeah, you'd be pretty fucking addicted to it.
Can I roll?
Kez pops another jelly bean in his mouth and starts
to see if Kez is addicted.
Yeah, give me a heal check.
Like, officially. A heal check? Oh yeah, I could do that. I want to see if he's like actually medically addicted.
I mean, if I had my sense of taste, I could probably quit.
I got a 21.
Backup quest. Get Kez's sense of taste back before he becomes an addict.
We just need to graft a new tongue onto him.
Right.
Well, God took it, so I don't fucking fancy
because besides the taste, I don't have any effect happening to me.
From what you can tell, Kez is in the early stages of addiction to these jelly beans. However, what the effects will be, you have no clue. It could literally be nothing, or it could be as great as the super drug of World War II. That's what we're going to call it, because YouTube will demonetize us otherwise.
Oh, man, that's my favorite chocolate ever!
Yeah, exactly. I don't think I need to tell you this, Kez, given your medical expertise is bigger than mine. You should start to watch your consumption as time goes by.
You know what you should watch? The amount of things you attach to your body.
I am. I still have my normal arm, do I not?
Don't worry. Don't get me wrong. He is being catty, but that is very concerning for what it's worth.
I am well aware. Do you see another graft on me?
The only person who can lecture me on doing bad things to the body is Eider.
I think for a moment, pull hold up my one hand that is missing a finger. It says, "I guess so."
I think we are all very bad in terms of taking care of ourselves, but I think that is a common issue amongst adventurers, and we should not be judged too harshly.
Please, Kez and Eider, both give me a knowledge history check.
Oh, not me?
No.
What the heck?
You're the one who made the statement, so that's why I'm having them roll for it.
Oh. Okay, good. What the heck, man? I'm being left out of the knowledge.
I know.
Yeah! Knowledge is for the... never mind.
Do you have a knowledge, Dom? I didn't think you did.
Dom should.
I don't have knowledge history.
Oh my god.
I have a knowledge.
That is a natural 19.
Okay.
Because I have a +0 to history.
Fantastic. Alright, Eider.
Incredible.
That is a 23.
So, doesn't take much, but when you hear Dom say this, thinking to the history books of the great adventurers that have come and gone, those who have become heroes, slain mighty beasts and such, the weirdest you've seen and strangest is the occasional metal arm that someone had to make as a replacement to losing it. In terms of your party, you lot look fucking strange. I mean, immensely strange.
I'm the most normal one, I think.
We are innovators.
Well,
you and
I'm still
Eider
just
are
a normal person.
tie. Eider's armor is a bit more stand-out-ish than yours in that perspective, Kez, but you are a femboy, so, like, I'd say Eider's probably the least
Arguably the
noticeable.
worst.
I could at least-
Of us.
I can at least take off my armor.
I mean, to
I
be
don't-
fair, I can go into any nation I want.
That is
can't.
true, so can Eider. But,
Hey,
you know,
I
Dom
can
and Ned,
attempt to roll seduction.
Well,
I
I
just
don't.
get a
I
bonus.
think what hasn't Eider been like banned from any dragon nation?
yes.
He's wanted. Oh, he's got a lot of money on him.
He
Yeah.
is banned in multiple dragon nations for the insult of his armor.
But if they never catch me,
As the other issue is you look up Eider up and down, Kez. Eider, unlike yourself, who kind of like if you took off your armor and like wore commoner's clothes, you'd still stick out due to your just a physique and also your natural strength that you have.
pretty
Eider,
hot.
you probably could not pick out of a line of Snowbeards if you really tried. Like he looks as not like bad, just common. That's kind of
can't
is the
tell the difference.
realization.
We're giants.
What the Lego man? Just the average.
If Eider didn't glow with his eyes like bright glowing and like with a little bit of magical effects, if he just was like acting like a normal Snowbeard, you're 100% sure you wouldn't be able to pick him out.
They can't sense his
Fair enough.
arcane prowess or whatever he's got going on. I think, yeah.
I will say, standouting, I do always forget, Eider does glow, so yeah, Kez is actually probably the least suspicious looking of the four of you. Because at least
Ned
Kez
go
doesn't
from my
glow.
items though, so I can turn that off.
It's fair. But as you three kind of sit around the table enjoying your breakfast, kind of talking about this, looking at Kez with concern as he pops another jelly bean in his mouth, seeing the jar is filled once more as Val comes over and kind of fills it from a pitcher, kind of
This is
topping it
freaking
off.
fantastic, guys. Look at this. Look at this. Isn't this awesome?
As she kind of smiles and then turns and heads back over towards her bar and kind of goes back to working with a couple of the other customers. You see a few elves, what looks to be a few dragon kin that are kind of sitting there ordering drinks and enjoying themselves. Scarspander kind of sitting off to the darker portion of the tavern by himself, enjoying what looks to be a dark ale of some sort, though not very
Don't want
frothy.
to associate.
And as you do make eye contact, he seems to kind of pull his hood over a little bit more and goes back, kind of goes into his drink.
It's like, oh, I know that guy. I should go say hi. It's like, no. And I was like, all right, fair enough.
Could I roll some kind of sense motive for Spot to see if the dragonkin seem to have clocked Eider at all and seem hostile, or are they too busy like just drinking?
You can give me a spot check, or you can give me a sense motive check. That'll give you two different results.
Okay, I'll see what I roll and see which bonus is higher. I think I know which it is.
Can I roll sense motive
Yep.
to spot this?
18.
And that's
I
sense
didn't
motive?
roll high on that. Yeah, sense motive.
Okay. As you kind of look over, he has, or they have definitely noticed you lot, but they don't seem to at all be paying you any attention beyond just a quick glance over as another customer. Yeah, that's also to the point, Dom. I will make a note. These random merchants do not look like the type of individuals that would suddenly pick up a sword and try and stab a capable-looking, what looks to be experienced knight. I mean, with the magic equipment you lot are carrying alone, you look more well-equipped than the average adventurer.
Oh, Dom isn't concerned about these guys attempting to stab them while we're, vessels like friends of Zebrals. Dom is worried about these guys ratting out where Eider is because they've clocked him in their part, and basically their leaders want them dead.
So
Dom's worried that they're a security breach,
I
not
will
that they're
note
gonna
that-
come up and stab us.
Dom, you never saw these people come into the town, and you never saw where they came out of. They just seemed to appear there.
Okay.
Granted, we haven't been in town for very long, so that's
No.
not.
No.
Nor have you been paying attention to every individual that's walking around
No,
this
I've
town.
been training, man. I've
Yeah.
been in my.
But I will
Oh,
note,
wow.
seeing as you have seen Zebral takes on different forms, this creature could as well be an illithid that is just changing its shape to take a form it more appreciates or likes to appear as.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that was commonplace here.
Hey, you know
Well,
what? They
you are
also might be
illithid,
invited
huh?
to the feast. Who knows?
They could be. But as you kind of look them up and down, they're kind of clocking their very average merchant attire. A few of them have some gem-encrusted daggers, but I mean, none of them look like they're like battle capable. These look like guys who would hire people like you to kind of escort them somewhere.
Like the nobles we were defending on that, like, you know, earlier
So
on in
long
the
ago.
campaign.
Yeah.
That we like got all the money from.
Yeah, Kez
Yeah.
made a lot of friends
time.
with because of his jewelry
I nudge
crafting.
Kez and I look over at the merchants and their gem-encrusted daggers, and I'm like, you might be able to make some good gem working sales with those ones. I know you've got a fuck ton of gems I've been giving you from all the loot. You got goods. And I'll just go back to, like, you know, drinking and eating and sitting awkwardly in the chairs. I'm not built for this place, size-wise. I take up a whole half of the table by myself.
You're not
Easy.
wrong.
Unfortunately, the bar lady.
Yeah.
Fuck. Is her name again?
Vel.
Vel. There we go. Yeah, I approached Vel. And I just like smile. And he's like, come up and was like, just wanted to double check. Is there any league business that I need to be aware of for the feast?
Any league business will be discussed by Lord Zebril. However, your next job, or portion of your mission, has already been set. Once you all are prepared and have had a time to relax and unwind, as Lord Zebril has asked, then you may go and collect your information and go out onto your next mission. I will let you know and warn you, you will be going alone this time.
As in no skirts mender, or as in like just point to myself and then like point to my companions?
No, without Scartsmander, you will not need a guide to find the location you are going to.
Okay. Like you see like disappointment in Iders, like he's glimpsed the gates of freedom for a whole half second.
Usually when you boil meat, that's what happens.
You had all our downtime, buddy.
So something the last couple times did not go well.
Oh.
So I don't know what to do about it.
Oh, he's got... As Kez kind of like goes over to one of the chefs and heads into the back of the kitchen working with the jelly beans, trying to get a recipe as you guys see him heading off. Moment Eider takes his eyes off him, Kez is gone.
It's like I feel a Eider like feels like the hackles on the back of his neck is like I sense a war crime is brewing.
Always goes well when Kez is alone.
Dom, you watch as Kez kind of gets up and walks into the back of the kitchen and looking at the jelly beans. One of them you kind of see he's holding that's like half chewed on, that's orange or orangish in color, a little bit different than the others. As he kind of opens the door and goes to talk to the chef. As you stand there, Eider kind of looking about. One of the merchants though kind of looks over at you and goes. As with his goblin-like appearance, like blue skin, a kind of thin bluish mustache that's starting to just grow in, as he looks over at you and kind of smiles and goes, "Are you the Spellforge fella?"
Yes.
Oh, as he kind of pops off his chair and drops onto the ground. A nice little merchant attire of what looks to be some blue, a very beautiful dress blue coloration to it. A bit of glimmers of silver here and there as he kind of walks over to you and holds out his hand. A few gemstones kind of on his fingers as he goes to hold out his hand to you.
Yeah, I give him like a worksman's shake.
And takes it immediately, kind of shakes your hand, smiles, and goes, I've been looking to meet someone like yourself. Name is Old... Well, in common, I guess you'd call me Socks. The goblin tongue doesn't translate well to these dragon tongues.
Just gotta like nod, like for a moment. It's like, well, I probably don't speak goblin, honestly.
Friends call me Cirque.
Nice to meet you, sir.
He nods and smiles.
So, how exactly did you hear about me?
Oh, he kind of pulls out a bag of holding on his hip, a book from the Swords of Pyrrhus, like almost identical to the Collective, but with the Swords emblem on it and a slight different coloration to it. Whereas the normal is a bit of a brown, this one seems to have a bluish hint to it, and has different signatures down at the bottom. As he kind of opens it and goes, "Your clan here is mentioned on the treasure horns. Clan Spellforge, or Lesser Clan Spellforge here. You're set to take over the treasure horn, something about being some glorious dragon slayer. A few other mentions in here of you. You're famous. I mean, your name is even mentioned right here. As he kind of holds up and points to your name in the book, as you see Eider written out and of Lesser Clan Spellforge.
It's like, huh. James has been busy, I guess. I can only assume. I don't know anybody else from the Dwarven territories anymore, I don't think.
Jane, you mean the Ironheart Merchant Company CEO?
Yeah, my cousin.
Oh, last I heard, he was in Normax lands dealing with a civil war that was going on over there. Something about a leader dying, vanishing, and then a bunch of mercenary groups decided to make claim to the town. Last thing I heard, though, he has some business now in the Snowbeard lands and has set up a pretty hefty logistics chain.
Oh, at least he's taking care of things back home. We'll have to try and see what he's up to eventually. But I'm sorry, you needed something from me?
I was just shocked that I could see you in these parts. The unfortunate sons were said to have vanished. I thought you lot had died in some tomb or something of the sort. The guild will be shocked at him when I go back to tell them. Oh, here, let me pull out my card. Kind of pulls a small card, and he hands it to you, and you read Stan Standerson's Investigation Bureau.
I was like, think for a moment, like, what are you Am I under investigation?
Oh, no, not at all. I came into town because I heard Utham was coming to the territories, and Lord Zebril said, as a kindness to the World Traveler's Report, that I could come visit as long as I did not report anything he didn't approve. So we're getting a bit of a personal piece from him for the annual World Traveler's Report this year. See what he thought about what happened and, what's been going on.
Yeah.
We get hired out by different groups all the time. It's kind of a mixed business when you sell information.
Makes sense.
He nods. I'm mostly a journalist myself, not really good at the whole spy thing, as he kind of like puts his hands in front of him, kind of going up and down, and goes, I kind of stick out in a crowd. We Shogun clans are always kind of popping off in these parts. Just even amongst our own goblin kind, we seem to stick out.
Yes, I thought the only tribe of blues was, well, the one we just encountered.
Blues? I'm not familiar with the term, friend.
Oh, blue goblins.
Oh, no. We don't have any sort of fanciness to us. We're just a clan that's slightly got a different pigment and color. I'm from Draffica, just like all the rest of my kind.
Huh. Interesting. You might ask Zebril potentially to meet some of your cousins from this island.
I mean, if
Cousins in the least sense.
Well, I can get any of them to come out this way. Most are magic casters and are warier than hell when it comes to these types, so... I kind of look behind you at Dom, kind of eyeing up Dom a bit, and looks back at you.
Oh, no, I mean, there were some goblins on the island.
Oh! No, I mean, we goblins don't all know each other. It's not I know it might be a misunderstanding on that commonality, but our species is mostly from Draffica. Anything outside of that wouldn't mean much of us. It's kind of like difference between one of them chromatic scales and metallic scale dragons. Completely different personalities and cultures.
Just kind of like nod and shrug. Is like, fair enough. But sometimes I'm interested in meeting some of the other dwarven offshoots.
He nods at that and goes, met a few of the Seacliff clans. They're sweet people. Damn good fish, too. Kind of starts to walk over the table, kind of walk with you as he looks back, looking at Dom, and goes, and let me guess, this is Dom Nander the Accursed.
Dom snorts a little bit at the title. That's the first I'm hearing of that one. I am Dom Nander Gratalis, though. Yes.
Interesting. I had heard you were recognized as a Granaga. Fascinating.
Right. Dom kind of idly taps the belt. There's a lot going on, but I am not Granaga of blood.
Well, if you don't mind my asking, are you the one who was responsible for the supposed necromancer outbreak near King's End?
Goodness, no, I don't work with necromancers. It's a whole thing with our party. And I gesture to like the gear of ours that like glows the second there's a necromancer. Undead's not exactly our forte. Kez, who is not present.
And
very
if
strongly
you
against.
cook that down to a very like slow temperature, you'll get that demi-glace working just great. All right, I gotta get back to my group now.
Kid's like
to teach
opens-
you a couple things. All right, good talking to you, Jeff. Good to meet you, man.
This kid's like holds the door open, and the chef kind of looking at the jelly bean now, having a proper golden color instead of the orange from earlier, as he like closes the door kind of to join you lot. Almost on cue as you mentioned Kez, Dom.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Kez, as you sit down, seeing this well-dressed, like a very blue mercantile-attired goblin with pale blue skin and a thin white mustache kind of sticking out, sitting there, you notice he's kind of taking notes on a little notebook as he's talking to Dominator.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure you've got a lot of questions and there's a lot of falsehoods, so feel free to run through the list, but no, it was not me.
All right.
Admittedly, we
What
did.
was it, you?
I think we did have something to do with that. I think we wiped out the necromancers that showed up there. Is that the recollecting my
Yes.
my misunderstanding that? Okay, that's the same village.
Yep, it's roughly the same village. To
I
catch
thought
Kez up, the village
we're-
that you guys met the Smith's apprentice in, where all those necromancers.
Yeah, like
Oh,
are.
was he
the,
asking if we
the
killed
oak
them, or
guys.
if we asking if we helped them? I thought he was asking.
He was
if we
asking if you helped them.
find the out.
Yeah, that was what he was
Yeah,
implying.
Still a no.
Yeah.
Dom's answer is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we didn't
No.
wipe out all the village. There was fuck.
You didn't wipe out any of the village. You showed up with all the diseased people there.
The guys,
Yeah, we killed
men
the
were
problem.
there.
Yeah, what I was saying is like we wiped out the necromancers, basically.
He nods
Yeah,
at
so
that.
Dom's answer of no, we didn't help them. Yeah, is the correct one. We weren't
Yeah.
behind.
Nods at
village.
that. And then looks up, kind of seeing Kez taking a seat with the jelly beans, kind of looks at the jelly beans and kind of takes them up, sees Kez pop one in and goes, "You know those are, like, highly addictive and dangerous, young prince. I assume you're a fire giant noble?" As he looks at Kez up and down.
Oh, I'm by no means royalty, at least not that I know of.
He nods. Interesting. Well, I apologize. With the fairness of appearance, I assumed not many well-groomed individuals in the commoners' pools, as you understand.
Well, you know what they say, cleanliness is godliness. And as a cleric, I must upkeep my hygiene.
Yes, you're the servant of Ella Ugbo, correct?
You would be correct.
Are you the high priest that got recognized in King's End as the savior of the Battle of the Walls?
I don't recognize that title, but perhaps.
A man
All
by
I
the
did
name
was keep people alive.
nods at that, kind of writes it down, and goes, "A man by the name of Regan Ogg declared you as, and I quote, savior to the people of King's End, a church that represents respect and kindness, as well as a dignity to help all on the battlefield regardless of sides. He spoke quite highly of you."
Well, I appreciate that. It's very kind of him.
So, if I may ask, why would you firebomb your own church?
Guys, what the hell?
No, that's the letter.
Oh,
There was a certain individual present at that church who made it aware he was present at that church. I'm
My
waiting to
church
see.
got firebombed.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm watching Kez to make sure he doesn't flip the fuck out, by the way.
I do apologize, cleric, Keznok. I'm just here kind of going over my story here. I don't have all of the details here, of course, but from what I understand of the report, as he kind of like flips his little notepad, as he kind of starts writing in it vigorously and goes, the church was attacked by a fair beauty of a fire giant, Some described her as a fire giantess, some described her as a fire giant, wearing cleric's garb, fair in appearance overall, and attacking the church with bombs of fire, I assumed. Everyone assumed it was you attacking, as everyone who was inside the church that had survived, the few victims had declared, stating it was someone who was reading the chant of El Ugbo out loud and looked just like you while they did it. I mean, hundreds were killed during the event. The only thing that was strange was the gold was left behind, so I was going to ask why you would do this and leave so much wealth. I mean, 100,000 gem pieces is nothing to sneeze at. That gold is quite a number for someone of your capability. Do you have any comment?
I have been on this island for months.
Years.
Years?
Yes, 2 years now.
Why the fuck have I let us stay
A lot
here
of
this
months.
long?
Yeah, now you realize. Yeah, 2 years now. As you kind of have a realization, Kez, as you kind of correct yourself for a moment.
I haven't been in King's End in 2 years. Zebril or any of the folks here can attest. I haven't been to King's End in so long.
His notepad kind of glimmers slightly, and he goes,
I
Interesting.
did receive a letter
You know,
that showed me that Jakix was in King's End.
the Morin fella?
Yeah.
Interesting, as he kind of writes it down and goes, my notepad says you're telling the truth, which is strange. You're not under the effects of a brainworm, by chance, are you?
I don't know.
Alright, cool. I'll just put that down as maybe. Interesting.
He is notably threatened and attempted to coerce Kez in the past, as well as our group. You'll find his family are not too keen with us.
I haven't even done anything to him, not that I know of.
Existing in way of their plans is enough, I'm sure.
Oh, well, okay then.
If I may ask, given your situation, then, if you don't mind, what would your opinion be on the fact that the rumors going around that the Snowbeard Kingdom, once housed the House of Venkos as the royal family, having been ousted recently, and now being fully backed by James of the Ironheart Merchant Company, having heard the rumors that he ousted the Morans completely from the territory, do you have an opinion or any statement you'd like to put out on that?
Like I said, I have been either on this island or for a short week delivering a letter to Nolatham. I do not know the state of the world, so I cannot say anything regarding the matter as I do not know all the facts.
He nods at that and goes, respectable and understandable. You were raised well, as he writes that down. He goes, well, it kind of covers most of what I had questions for you lot three. It looks like your fourth friend isn't here. I had a question about supposed rumors of tampering with wells through ill-begotten means. But I'll save those questions for another time. As you kind of see as he flips through a page, and you see Ned's picture in a wanted poster with five gold pieces for shitting in a public well.
Yeah, I don't know if we could defend him from that one, so that one doesn't say anything.
I just start fucking sweating.
5 gold coins.
He kind of flips
That's
the page.
crazy.
He's got more than that in his donation bucket, I'm sure.
Listen, Eider, I don't know how long it's going to take us to finish this quest line. Truth be told, I hadn't even realized we'd been here this long. I got to get back to my people, now more than ever.
You need to be careful, because if they think you did it, they might not meet you with open arms.
I do not care what their perception of me is. All I care is that if they're doing all right. And I can't make sure that they're going to be all right unless I'm there.
Could you not ask Regan Utham to check when he undoubtedly leaves these lands soon, I think we should go if that is what you must do. But if you wander into a town that thinks you are a terror who killed his own men, you will not only not be greeted by open arms, you might be greeted by spear and sword and jailed or killed or worse.
He's right. Man nods.
Because you're a doctor, so I think you probably understand this more than anything. Do you treat the symptom or do you treat the illness?
You treat both.
All right, but if you have to let the symptom fester to clear the illness,
A good doctor wouldn't let it come to that.
well,
Good
I hate to
doctors
say
don't
it, but
always
we're
get
not
good
exactly
choices.
the best of champions.
I just wish we didn't spend months and months here.
Would you rather have just died?
I rather
Because,
wouldn't have
like,
done it at all.
Look, I appreciate the holier than thou thing, but you're not strong enough to just throw your weight around to begin with. None of us are. So, like, the idea of we could have done anything outside, we've been collecting losses left, right, and center. Like, by the skin of our teeth, over and over again. So, by all means, if, like, the illusion that you could have been outside and helping really helps you, and that you're really annoyed that we've spent so much time preparing to actually do something to help instead of just being paper tigers, then feel free.
Fine. I'll ask Zebul to teleport me to a King's End. I'm done here.
Kez kind of stands
You
up from the
realize
table.
you're falling right into his plan, right? The letter, this. He wants you
Maybe.
there, and he wants you alone.
Maybe. But I won't stand by and let my people be harmed. If you guys
Even
are
What do
okay
you
with that,
think
that's
will
fine by
happen?
me. But I will not do... I'm not just going to stand by and let it happen.
Kez, you are the champion of your people. You are one of the last
Correct.
few, I must emphasize, last few of Ella Ugbo's religion who actually knows of the fate before. You are one of the last few survivors. What do you think happens to your people as a whole if you are killed and made martyr and for all to see with Jakix? What do you think happens to the people you've been leading who are now scared and think you are against them if you are found dead? And what if he just kills you and takes your appearance? What if he spouts lies? What if he leads your people astray? If you care about your people, by all means, do not leave them to die. But wandering into a death trap isn't some glorious martyrdom. It isn't some selfless act. It is foolishness because you want to confront him now. You want the satisfaction of telling him to fuck off to his face, and nothing good will come of it. This is a man who could kill us easily and probably still can. And if
And
you
what,
value your
we're gonna
life,
go face off against an apex monster that can do the same?
deploy a creature that is capable of reason that we are meant to reason with.
And so citizens of a town are also capable of reasoning.
You want to go fight a
I don't-
mountain with a stick? Like, you're just as capable of that.
Then so I
do not
shall.
want to
I,
leave you.
like you said, I am the champion of my people, so I will not leave them to whatever fate that has befallen them. I better put my money where my mouth is if I'm a deity's champion, now should I? Huh?
Have you
No, you
ever
just give them
thought
to a
of
worse-
asking Zebril to let them come here under some kind of amnesty? Because they are people of war and they need shelter. Did you think before you thought to let yourself die of that?
I made up
I-
my mind. If I die doing
Well-
this, I'll die with pride, knowing I did something for my people.
I cannot support a quest like this. I will not go with you into death with no plan.
So be it. You've only ever been for yourself anyways.
Oh, the irony of you to say that, as though you and your holy quest have not dragged us through hell and back, and I've still stayed here. I could have gone anywhere else with any other group from the start, and I've made this work. And if you can't see how hard I've worked to try to respect you, to try to get you to respect me, because my very existence is enough for you to spit on my existence, then you are blinded. And I want you to know that your words hurt when you go off on your own. That I was willing to see you as a brother, and if you could not see the same brother in arms with me, that is on you, because I tried. And I am going to like stand up loudly just because of my size. I have no way to not, and I will exit the tavern again loudly because I have to force my way out the door.
Give me a reflex check.
Dom
Let's Dom real quick. Let's see if you manage to like kick a chair over by accident or crush it because of your large
I'm
frame.
gonna like accidentally fucking kick a hole through the wall, Kool-Aid Man style, and everyone's gonna be mad at me.
I mean, you know, it'll be a great way to give an exit.
Yeah. Okay. It is only wait, what you said reflex save?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was reading something else. So that is a 17.
17. Yeah, as you kind of stand up, kicking back the chair a good bit, it kind of grinds to a halt a few feet behind you as it bumps into one of the booths. Vel kind of looking up as she notices the commotion, as you kind of start to walk past, kicking a couple of chairs on your way by accident, but as you kind of head out the door, disappearing into the streets.
Yep.
Leaving Kez and Eider sitting there. Well, Kez standing, Eider sitting there alongside old Spurk here, who's just kind of writing all of this down. As you can see, the breakup of the Unfortunate Sons kind of circled a few times, right below the death of the Red Lady Pirates. Kez and Eider, as you're kind of sitting there, is there anything...
If you were the last of your kind,
I am.
I would have helped you. No, you're not. You have your house. You still had family.
No,
I had
they're all
nothing.
dead.
James still exists, and you know it.
Yeah.
You still
distant
have
cousin.
someone. I have no one.
No, let me put it to you this way, you spoiled fucking brat. I watched my sister put to death, my mother, my father, my uncles, cousins, nephews. I don't want to fucking hear your nonsense holier than thou thing. I watched my actual family fucking die in this bullshit civil war that your people decided to walk in and decide to dictate for us.
Sorry that happened to you. I
I'm
truly
sorry
am.
you're too blind to look at what we're trying to do and realize we're trying to win for real and not just make ourselves feel better. I sent this bastard to fucking Abaddon, and apparently he's able to walk out or not be affected by it.
Kez,
I stand for something. I'm out.
Ooh. Kez, as you stand up, give me we're gonna call it an intelligence. No, let's do a sense motive. We'll call it. Not on either. Don't worry. It was for something.
Not good
else.
on either of those things, but
yeah. I know you got
that's a nat 20 for a 25.
Holy shit. So, well, you're gonna learn something Saturday. I figured out recently. Kez, as you kind of stand up, something clicks in your head as Eider says this. And it kind of clues in about one major thing. That civil war, the giants being broken up against the Alliance. This Jakix fella always acting differently when you meet him, being different in very specific personality ways that you wouldn't normally see shifting in a human being, or no, well, an individual, not a human being. So you finally start to click together. It's not the same Jakix, and it's him who's doing this, or whoever this group is that's impersonating him. One who seems very prideful, another that you've seen seeming very envious. It's almost strange that these start to catch your attention, and as you start to pick it out, it's almost like there's been about 7 different personalities. As you click together the realization all together, you're being played, Kez. This isn't just one guy. There's 7 of these fuckers. and they all each seem to represent, as you realize, one of the 7 deadly sins.
As Kazanok goes to walk out of the door, with the realization dawning on him, he turns around, and I ask the bar lady, "You got twine,
Well, kind
rope,
of,
small like yarn or anything?"
she nods and kind of like pulls from underneath some rope and kind of sets it out. And goes, "Why?"
You'll see. And I get some paper. I rip it out of a book that I have, like a journal, and I go up to a wall, and I start just laying out everything that's been happening up to this point.
And as you look at it, you realize it's a 7-pointed star on the big fucking map. Every point you have been attacked by this guy has been at some point in the shape of a very weird looking star.
Fuck, it's genius.
As you look up and see what Kez just suddenly has just started doing this, is you're kind of boiling a bit with anger as you look up and notice what he's doing, as he's like drawing out the G-Kixes and giving a little bit of slight changes to them and all sorts as he pushes it up on the side of the wall.
Something's not as it seems, Eider.
Oh, now you're listening?
You didn't know this shit either.
I told you right off the bat it was a fucking bad idea to go because we didn't know everything. Anyway,
Not just that, everything up to this point.
As you look at it,
what is it?
as you both look, one of the points is on Zebral's Island and seems to be in the city.
He's here, or is going to be here.
We already ran into him. Pride.
If you already knew this, why didn't you say anything?
I will say, Kez, as you look over at him, I will note as Eider kind of mentions this. It seems to be kind of dawning on him as well as he's connecting the different G-Kixes that you guys have ran into.
After we deal with whatever's happening on this island, we are going back to King's End. But we'll finish what we have to do here first.
As Kez kind of puts his hand up on the side of the wall with all the corks and butter knives kind of shoved into the piece of paper he's got kind of pinned onto it with the twine kind of wrapping around it.
I just fucking groaned and really like back to Utham's lands.
And in the distance, Utham sneezes and feels a chill down his spine.
But only just to clear my name and make sure everything's fine and all right, and then we're gonna go right out. I need to go back and make sure they're all okay. Letters and messages isn't enough.
Fine. I was never against you going to help your people. We don't know enough, and walking in can make them more of a target. You don't let people know your vulnerabilities.
Listen, everyone knows my vulnerabilities. I wear my heart out on a sleeve. It's not that hard to evoke a reaction out of me.
Bell nods to that. So does half the
I'm a very caring individual, and that will always be my weakness, but my caring is a strength as well. And I understand that people can use it against me, but if it means that I can at least have some semblance of trust with my own people, knowing that they know that I will do anything to help them out, I'm okay with that. But we came here to do a job first. And I'll respect the confines of the deal that we made, but I do need to make sure my people are okay. I've lost everything once before, you know that. I can't lose it all again.
Yeah, I can respect that. Just every now and then, try and listen to us. We're trying to help you do your own goals. We're not just selfish bastards. Like, every one of us has something we need protection against in our own natures. Dom's as arrogant as the day is long. Sometimes we have to keep them afloat. Sometimes you have to make sure I don't fucking decide to set off a bomb of lyrium because my curiosity is too stupid to get me out of the trouble. And sometimes you think doing the right thing in the shortest and most direct way possible is the thing is going to hurt the least amount of people. And sometimes that's not the case.
All right, then. A deal, then. I listen to you. Well, I listen to everyone. Listen to me from time to time, okay?
Do believe it or not.
It doesn't seem like that always.
Just have a lot to juggle, Kez. Sorry if it feels like I'm not listening to you.
We've got a feast to go to. Let's put all this behind us.
Yep. I'll go see how Dom is doing.
Put my hand out.
Uh-huh.
Like, reach out, like, fucking, I guess, shake your pinky finger.
Yeah, of his size. Well, no, he's large.
I'm not
so
too bad. I'm
It's
only
not-
9 feet tall.
Yeah,
Well,
it-
it's a bit manageable.
It's not Dom-sized, at least, you know. You can actually get your hand into his, you know, somewhat.
I would imagine like a human adult with a toddler.
Yeah, there you go. As you two kind of shake hands and start heading off, we will jump now and wind back the clock as Dom heads out into the city alone. Dom, as you do, where would you like to go as you head outside the tavern and see what looks to be somewhat of a busy town as the place seems to be abuzz with activity?
Dom, in that moment, is angry about a lot of things and conflicted about a lot of things. And Kez unknowingly, because Dom will not open himself to the party enough to explain, has put a match in a pile of tinder, essentially. And Dom is doing everything he can to keep calm because he knows where he is. He knows what's happening. And he knows intelligently, as a guy who has, you know, been in even like political spaces before, that this is not the time, and yet he cannot help but feel nothing but anger. So he is basically just walking, not running, but walking as fast as he can go, as far as he can go with the lays, just to get away. And when he gets to the edge of whatever border, whether it be the lay, whether it be the city, he will find something to occupy his mind. But right now, he's just getting distance.
Yeah, as you start heading off, you find yourself heading towards like the far point of the town as you start walking in that direction. Kind of passing by a few merchant stalls that try to kind of like catch your attention, but as you kind of angry and in your own mind at this point, kind of just brush them off and continue walking as you find yourself a few moments later down a long and now damp cave. You saw some guards standing at it, but it didn't have a sign that said you can't go down here. There's no one here. So as you continue walking down, finding yourself into a beautiful and a bright, glimmering area of what looks to be these almost quartz baths that are naturally shaped almost like oyster shells, with pools of water kind of glimmering, a few of them glimmering with the golden ambrosia liquid, the others seemingly glimmering with purely clear water that has almost a lavender-like scent. As you find yourself kind of in this almost opened up hot or opulent spring area, a figure kind of sitting in there already as you look up, kind of covered in a hood and with their scales or with their scaled feet kind of sitting in the water as they seem to be kicking a little bit at it as you walk in, seeing no one else in the room.
I want to say, by the way, I know Dom is like angry and he's focusing on distance. Once I get to this location, I would like to roll either a hide or move silently because I am trying to outright avoid the party finding me. Dom doesn't want to be found or interrupted right now because he knows what will happen. And as I think to the repeat of Dom and Aldrin's like little fight in the bar, and he knows they're wearing the lay necklaces, so I'll roll whatever roll needs to be made, but Dom is trying to be discreet as he enters, like, the caves and the pools.
Yeah, give me a hide and a move silent check.
Okay. Alright. Okay, let me remember what the minus to hide is from being so damn big.
-8.
-8? Okay. So that's um so 8 for the hide, and then the move silently would be a 19. So I'm very
Okay.
easy to spot, but I'm very quiet.
As you kind of keeping your your footsteps quiet, matching the sounds of the dripping water as you move, kind of almost to the untrained or ear being completely missed as you kind of start walking through. Your size like a giant shadow along the wall to most individuals if they weren't close up towards you as you kind of look about. As you come into this opulent spring, seeing a few flowers kind of dangling from the rooftop that glimmer and seem to give the room a bit more light, a natural light. The dragon kin, you'd guess, like figure with their scaled like skin kind of kicking at the water as they seem to sit at the top of the spring where the water kind of pours out, sitting off to the side of it and just enjoying themselves. Seems to be kind of staring straight at you as you walk in the room, Dom.
Yeah.
As their eyes
I
kind of
think-
glimmer like gold. Thankfully, not like Kaijin gold, but like as if they have a spell gold.
Okay. I think Dom like walks in and is clearly quite agitated. You know, it's in his body language. He's a big guy. But he sees this calm place and he sees that it seems to be tucked away, and he thinks he's maybe gotten in here quiet enough without maybe having his location linked to the party. And I don't think Dom approaches the figure, but I think I approached the place the figure's at like the head. You said it was like the head of the springs, right? Like where
Yes.
the water came
Mhm.
out.
Yep.
And he's going to like plop himself down like with a lot of force, but will take like one of his meditation poses, like one of his like monk training poses. And I think he's maybe, I mean, I can roll to see if it's successful. Attempt to like do some kind of meditation or do some kind of like physical training, like stretches, like yoga, whatever, to like bring his blood level down.
Oh yeah, we'll just call
Basically.
that a D20 as you start to kind of relax and unwind.
D20, no bonuses, just the
Yep.
D20.
Yep.
Uh-oh. 7.
As you kind of start trying to stretch, sitting down as you kind of move about, trying to get your body to flex, you begin moving your back a little bit, and as you kind of lean backwards, you hear a loud pop, and then something hurts as it stiffens, and you realize you're now a bit more pain than you were a moment ago.
Dom's just like, yeah, I think he's usually pretty good at keeping a somewhat neutral appearance, but I think there's just the most bad case of resty bitch face on him right now. And I think if this figure is like watching him, he's not trying to hide. He wants this figure to know he's agitated, so this figure knows not to fuck with him. He just sees that like look of like having something pulled something or sat wrong, and just Dom's meditation not really being meditating so much as it him vibrating, trying to force himself to sit still in a body that demands he like goes out and fight something.
As you kind of sit there, kind of closing your eyes as you do, the loud sound of the pop in your back kind of echoing a bit in the chamber. Well, if the other figure would like to not only describe what they look like, but as I imagine they're going to ask something here. Go ahead.
So, as Kilfrin lowers his hood off to get a good look at the person, you notice the scales are only really on the hands and feet. There's like a thick white hair, seemingly, on other parts of the body. And it's almost hard to tell the difference between him being either a dragonkin or kobold of some kind, or more of a beast folk. As he kind of looks over at Domnander and just goes, could lay back. Helps more than you'd think.
Lying on one's back makes oneself more vulnerable to attack.
Well, you know I didn't mean literally.
To what do I owe the... I would say pleasure. I'm not in a pleasurable mood, but I hope you understand it has nothing to do with your company. I am still not there.
Thought my king's son wanted to talk more, but fair enough. I'm here for the feast. Just relaxing before we get there.
Can I roll a? Because at that statement, I think Dom knows immediately who he's referring to. Can I roll history, or can I roll my like squire background to see if I recognize who this is from like
Yeah.
the court, like Utham's inner
Yeah.
circle?
Go ahead and give me a profession squire. I'll take it.
Who the fuck are you? How do you know my dad? A lot of people know my dad.
Mhm.
15.
King. A lot of people know your dad.
15.
Yeah, but you speak about him like you know him, buddy.
Well, I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is this person's not a threat. The bad news is you've never seen this individual at Utham's court before.
Dom kind of like, I think I had his eyes closed and was like trying to force himself to like meditate, which is not how meditation works. Like opens them as you make the statement and kind of, I think he would see like Dom's one eye patch eye mimicking Utham's, the other eye altered and changed, and him with all these graphs and all these marks and a random weird arm that isn't a giant arm but is his size. You know of Regan Utham, that is no surprise. What are you to him? I don't recognize you, which is not to say much. I have been gone from the court for a while.
I am his third after a certain Smith got killed. I've been acting as his court mage of sorts. I did get brought in after you left. Although I think I do good work.
Well, Utham is not in the habit of hiring competent people, so take that as praise enough if you have the position.
I also believe if I truly wasn't of his, and I said that on this island, I think I'd be killed where I sat.
Oh, if he's here already, most certainly.
Oh, I'm not talking about the Regan.
The
leader
Fair
here
enough.
does all.
You, I don't know, getting time away from the feast as well, I take it.
When you're called, I'll be called at the same time. I'm assuming, at least.
I have no idea. I've been in the woods on this island most of the time, fighting the lovely local fauna that live here. I'm not even sure why a feast is happening.
Well, I won't spoil that. I was asked not to. But with the pop and the, dare I say, obvious bad mood, coin for your thoughts?
How many coins you have? I have a lot of thoughts.
More than you could count.
I don't know. I do the accounting for my party. I'm used to counting a lot of coins. And I think Dom kind of is still tense and agitated, but shifts his position into less of like a focused meditation and more of just an actual sit. The personal affairs of my party are really not mine to share around, but there is agitation amongst us that is worsening, and we have forces much stronger than us acting on us, and it is forcing our hand, and we are not at a stage to deal with it head on. And as I'm sure you would know with adventurers, not being able to tackle a problem head on is not a fun position to be in.
I know all too well. 29 subordinates who could each level a castle, and we couldn't even scratch the god that came to invade.
How does the Reagan and the lands do without me and my party's presence? I've not been able to write for a while, and we vowed to stay out of the lands until a curse was dealt with or a mark. I long for home, I suppose.
Well, a spell the size of a continent went off sometime after you left. Got diverted, not really sure to do what, but somehow.
Yes, yes, I think I might recall that. But everything else goes well. Or as well as it can, I suppose, given all the
Well,
things going wrong in the world.
the Regan's fixing his military, and after all, basically the entire army died in that fight. He's kind of making do with clerics, paladins, and a wizard and druid corps right now.
Mm,
But
probably
no
not
one's.
ideal, but
But I can understand stress with a party. I mean, when you're not even world leader level and the Regan tells you that you're his answer to Apex monsters such if they attack, it can be a little stressful.
oh, you're getting a lot put on your shoulders, huh? And Dom kind of like chuckles a bit. Oh, I'm trying to recall if they mentioned what the strength was. I had an encounter with some kind of Morin or another demon, super powerful dumbass. I always punched him. Although it wasn't my fault, he was threatening the party and he made me larger than I am now, but.
You say demon.
Yes, I'm struggling to remember out of character that there was a specific type of demon he was, right? DM, because I think Dom rolled and
For which one? Who?
got I think it was Kaijin, the guy we ran into
Oh
in
yes,
the
you were told.
village.
Yes, you were told that he is a Jabrin, which, while are
Yeah.
traditionally Fey, are considered, from what you know of mixed breed. You have Fey versions and you have demon versions. So
Yes, he was a Jabrin, something like that. It was hard to clock what he fully was. There was illusions and even seeing through them that my vision seemed altered, but basically showed up to ask what we were doing and then I don't know, make a big show of threatening us, wanting to intimidate us. It's not the first of his family to be after us, and certainly not the last of our enemies, so adding
Mhm.
it to the list.
No one understands that fellow. Would rather not say his name. Names have power.
Mm.
No one knows what he wants. He does one thing, does another that contradicts it. No one really understands. Can tell you though, fought an Apex monster and killed it on his own.
When I punched him, it certainly felt like that was the case, yes.
Sounds
I think
about right.
I did about the most damage I could, given my increased size, and he didn't flinch. Flinch was too much. He didn't even breathe in response.
Oh.
But
Besides that, you have an undetermined, and it's not important, you don't have to tell me, problem with your party. I've been there. I can tell you, no matter what problem you have, it's not worth it. Not with internal struggle. Especially not these days. Everything wants you dead. At the very least, you have to trust your party to some level to want to at least not want to kill you directly themselves.
you know, I find myself less and less confident as time passes. Not fully their fault. Everyone who knows what I really am wants me dead, but I try, meeting their standards, I suppose, seeing things their way, doing things by their view of the world and how it should work, and feels like I'm still bad. And I don't claim to be good. I don't think I'm good, but it feels like the more I do to protect us, the more I'm seen as a danger. And, well, any smart person only keeps a threat around so long before they. And then he does a cut motion over his neck. I don't think they would now, but civil unrest leads to civil war. And what happens when two sides fight? Someone dies.
When you say protect them from something they know not, something that's attacking them directly, something else.
I don't think you have the time for me to list the enemies we have,
Oh
but
no, Not specifics, just are you protecting them for something they don't know is there, or are you killing something in front of them that's threatening them? It's very simple.
I grow powerful with the intent to keep myself and those around me alive. I would say threats we've yet to meet, threats we will meet, threats we actively fight. It's all. I don't think they see it. It is. I picture myself as a sword, you know. I'm not good. I am sharp. I can cut. I have cut. But I am a tool. Yes. And it matters what I'm wielded against. And I and those I work with as the hand guide that blade. I can cut enemies just as much as I could cut innocents. Anyone could. Any adventurer could
Then
go one day from killing necromancers to killing children, but they see the blade and they see the blood, and I think they're scared. I don't fully blame them. This belt has certainly complicated things, but they make comments on what I choose to do with myself and my graphs as though it's not the choice I can make for myself. And it's irritating. I don't think they understand what it's like being born into a world that wants you dead and needing to fight really hard for it. Like this. And he like lifts his tentacled arm. But it's not my job to argue my case, I suppose. Here to keep us alive. Best I
Then-
can.
why don't you try to let them see in a less aggressive way? Not talking to them if you truly don't want to or can't. Stop protecting them from the shadows. They'll either still disagree with you and you'll have your answer, or they'll see what you were trying to do.
I
Would that
don't.
not solve your problems immediately?
In
Seeing what
what
they do.
circumstance would I be able to? I'm a
Let
creature of combat. I mean, last
let
fight,
ever
I helped as much as I could. I gave a potion to the leader to keep him alive. I've done the same in past fights. If I was so selfish, I could have easily kept it for myself. The thought occurred to me before, but I used it in the moment, and clearly that means nothing. Peaceful action means nothing. Fighting our enemies is nothing. If I cannot gain their trust at this point, I feel like it is a waste of time to focus on that than to just focus on keeping us alive.
have you considered it's not they don't trust you, it's that they're worried about what you're doing to yourself as he kind of eyes the numerous graph.
They don't need to worry. I'm choosing to do this, you know? I mean, they have a right to be concerned about some things, certainly. I mean, we're all at risk of forces beyond us controlling us, but I'm not foolish. I know what I'm getting into with these things. I do them to become better. It's not
Dumb
like I'm.
the only person that's ever done this to their body has a mental fortitude exceeding most other world leaders. A lot of problems come with changing bodies, even in transmutation magic, and you don't even realize they're there until, well, best not to delve that.
Well, I don't have much of a choice. We are facing threats well above our scale, and I know at least one of us needs to make a sacrifice to meet the threats we are facing, and I don't expect them to do the same to themselves. So I am happy to take that burden. I've done nothing but train and push myself further and further. You could speak to the Reagan. It's why I took those years on my own when I was younger. He didn't demand I do it, I chose to. I need to be better. I need to be stronger. That's what all of this is for. You either crack under the pressure and you break and you die, or you find a way to reinforce yourself, make yourself stronger. And sometimes they are pretty. Sometimes a being stronger than you blesses you with their magic. Sometimes you are one of the few people in the world to wield some new source magic, and sometimes, when you're unlucky and the world hates you, you graft things onto you to make yourself survive another day. So maybe you could actually be strong enough to face the things that want you dead.
So he kind of pauses and looks at you for a second. It's like,
Yeah,
"Well,
do you want to? Are you doing a sense motive, or are you just looking at Dom?
It's not a sense motive.
He's looking
Okay.
at Frankenstein's monster and has a lot of questions pondering in his head.
Yeah, Frankenstein's monster needs therapy, guys.
Kez is in the background at the same time currently now working on the thing on the wall as he's putting the knives and stuff and doing some quick drawings. You cannot, but I do appreciate it. Don't mind the random chat messages in the background, you guys. It was being posted.
No, all good. I'm letting Cheston formulate a response to all of that package that just got.
I got my response. So Kilfrin kind of stands up and looks a little closer into your eyes and just goes,
Mhm.
"You know, that explains a lot.
Well,
You're not
what-
going mad. You've already snapped. Even if you haven't realized it. Even if peculiar. But you're holding a conversation. You really should talk to the Regan when we go to the feast directly.
of course, I would not refuse to speak to him unless he is busy. I have
If
concerns to bring up to him. If you think I should mention this breakage you speak of, that I might be in need of a psychological evaluation, I'll bring it up to him.
uh,
He's
if I
monitored my condition so far.
if I had to take a moderate guess, if you leave this island and go to, say, a small village, you might go on a killing spree. It's that bad.
I feel no urge to kill random civilians. There's nothing to
You,
gain of it. I would not
you,
create
you feel
orphans
no
for no
urge.
reason.
You feel no urge because there's no civilians on this island.
There's plenty of illithids. Mind you, they're probably strong and they're
Every
all tied to Lord Z.
every illithid is Zebril, and Zebril is every illithid.
I went. I'll bring it up to Reagan Hutham, but unless the belt will force me to do something, I'm not bloodthirsty. Sure, I am a little apathetic. Sure, I don't believe that the world is full of good and happy things, and I don't believe that
Oh.
kindness always wins. But I wouldn't go and just kill people, or I'd have done that
No,
before.
I get it. I've gone down a similar path. I used to be a better person than I am now. Sadly, my madness is a little more permanent. It's kind of hard to have positive thoughts now. Regardless, that's how it always starts. You don't notice it until someone else tells you about it and shows you.
Oh, you mean like the comments I've gotten, the looks I've gotten from my own
No,
party, from
no.
people around?
I
How
mean a deeper delve. Someone like Zebril could probably take that level of delve.
the last time I opened up to Lord Z, though he has been a great host to us, he looked at me like I was a monster and asked that I not use my power ever on his island.
Yes, well, Lord Z, as Kilfrin looks at the goo arm, as it were, probably
Or yeah, the
exacerbated.
tentacle arm.
He probably exacerbated the issue.
Well, issues growing out of my own hands, so it's not as though I've not tried. But besides Reagan Utham and those who are gone now, anyone I've trusted, truly trusted, with my close secrets, if even briefly, a glimpse into what's real, have not reacted in a way that has ever been positive.
Would you say you're part of your good people? The good sort? Not
Not,
heroes saving lives. The decent folk you'd find in villages, helping each other.
of course, they're selfless. Kez wanted to go off and get himself killed because he cares that people who are already dead are dead. Of course, either is nothing if not trying to keep us together. Ned's good. He's a little bit of a mess, and I don't fully understand him, but he's not. They're not like me. They're not like Jakix. They're not like these other people. They're a mess, but they've good intentions, yes.
Have you
They
noticed that all of the people that understand at least a little more aren't good people? At least not entirely.
Reagan Utham understands, or at least understands enough that I am just in need of assistance.
Reagan Utham is, as most would call it, a sociopath.
Slander, no doubt.
No, his own words. He knows. It comes with the territory of, well, taboo magic, as it were.
Taboo magic that he's used to help people, that he's used on people who, like me,
Yep.
agree. It's
But it's
safe
the it's
to.
same as delving, say, blood magic or soul magic. You don't come out the other side clean of mind, no matter what you're using it for.
I think when it comes to living, no one gets out clean on the other side to stay alive. And I think certain tools are more dangerous, yes, and certain things are more likely to damage its user, but tools are tools. Magic is magic, and if you choose to use it for senseless violence, doesn't matter if you're a cleric or a necromancer, someone who wants to kill will. Someone who wants to help will find ways to help.
I believe you're missing the point. I do not mean they come out unclean by choice. It's part of the magic. It just does that.
Mm.
Well, I used to believe in saving lives. Now I do human experimentation. Would you call that clean of mind?
I don't think I'm a good person to ask for moral standards, but if you're speaking objectively, no. I don't know
Exactly.
who you're experimenting on or the whys, but as far as morals in society goes, no.
Whoever
But
I'm told, I just don't care. They could be good, bad, neutral.
Hmm.
Regardless.
that is
You've-
the business of
After,
yours. I can't say I
after, a,
agree, but
after a point of becoming tainted, lightly or hardly, it can be hard to understand others, and it can be hard for others to understand you. There is a point where you just have to expect them to not understand. But maybe don't assume that no one wants what's best for you.
from what I've seen, what's best for me is whatever's keeping me alive and keeping me away from certain groups that want me dead. And I think we're doing a good enough job of that. But you're right. I have given up on them understanding truly from my eyes. That's why I'm here, and I'm not fighting my case and making a big fuss for nothing. Wasted breath is breath wasted.
Might I talk to you and your party to find some kind of middle ground, if not understanding, at least in a working relationship?
You are more than welcome, being who you are and just being a guest of Zebrals, to speak to who you want, when you want. I have no interest in getting myself mixed up in those matters. There's clearly business to do in the island, business to do off it. I am only here so I may get back to working condition and get back to business. I'm not one to sit idly by and do nothing. Reagan Utham could attest. I like to keep myself busy.
If that's the case, I'd go to the spring for a little bit and get the pop out of your back so you can actually walk.
Yeah, which spring? There's quite a few.
Any. Just spring water helps in general.
As he holds his hand out over the over towards the mini hot springs that are kind of just pouring over into one another.
Is this going to do what it did to this? And I hold up the what once was the weakening arm that now has become some random dude's arm on my body.
I look at myself, who's wearing a lot of magic items, and I just go, I don't think so.
Good. And I guess the nearest water I'll lower myself into, I suppose. Or at
As
least,
Dom
like, try to get-
Dom, you notice as Kez suddenly just starts floating out of it, his head just eyes looking, glaring at you, as you just see him staring at you. Not really, but...
First
I
time.
figured not. That would have been so fucking funny, just hear the whole time.
Yeah.
I was about to say.
Yeah, I heard everything, by the way. You know.
Hey, I got this little plan. Can we hurry this up? I got something to explain to you. I've been waiting here the
Hey,
entire
dude,
time.
I've got it in a corkboard with red string on it to show you, buddy. You gotta stop.
Tom,
more
your mental
character
state
roleplay.
doesn't matter. I need you to show you my
Tom.
board.
Tom, no one cares about you opening up and having emotional RP. We need you to help us kill people.
Exactly.
Look at the board.
No, but...
Tom, I need you to sense mode of the board. I think it's hiding something.
Relax for an hour, and then we'll go find your party.
Dom, as you start to kind of, as Kilfrin says this, kind of bringing this up, even mentioning this as you're starting to slide yourself down into the hot spring moment, you begin to hear a glorious bell ringing across the entirety of the town, stating, "Dinner is being served. The banquet is requesting all those who are required for the audience to come and enjoy."
Or not.
In the pools. And yeah, I think he'll shake himself dry a bit, like whatever he has to do to get some of the water off, and then I guess I'll wait to see if Kilfrin wants to walk alongside me, but otherwise, yeah, I'm just heading towards the banquet.
Okay.
Kilfrin will stand up, and you'll actually see probably the only item that you'll clock is a literal skull mask on his hip. As he will put his cloak on and be willing to walk with you.
Okay. Just a giant freak of nature and a little guy in a hood. Being all mysterious.
5'11" kobold. Yep.
Wait, 5'11" kobold next to Dom's fucking giant 22-foot ass.
Look,
How's
My
Everil
character
pictures
is
walking
cool.
down the street with Greg's Martom?
look, man, my character has something threatening, but you're not a caster. You wouldn't notice.
As the two of you start kind of heading through the damp tunnel, the moistness from the hot springs, kind of steam, kind of causing the sounds of light rain to kind of almost dribble off the caves themselves. As you look, kind of pass by a couple of guards who, if nod and give a light bow as you kind of head towards the main street, seeing Eider and Kez, who look to both be kind of discussing something as they kind of come upon you lot. Heading in the same direction towards Zebril's main castle. As the four of you kind of join back together, heading up towards the castle itself, the gates seem to open and a drawbridge seems to lower, almost as you look down and see the lakes of Ambrosia and what looks to be fish that are about the size of small hammerheads with the look of what appears to be goblin heads sewn onto them and fully seemingly capable of moving as the things swim about in the Ambrosia-filled moat. The creature's seemingly unfazed as you kind of head over the drawbridge. A few other individuals kind of coming up behind you will look to be young nobles from varying lands, though none that none of you seem to recognize. Most of you kind of guesstimating these to be minor nobles of other lands that you may not have seen, or for all you know, maybe they're just rich or wealthy merchants. It's too hard to tell, but as the group kind of begins to flow in, you see as a massive 80-foot table is set up about 40 feet off the ground. Huge chairs, almost equal in size, kind of set up. A large stair ramp up to the top of the table where a few of the guests kind of start walking over. You see as Utham's tall, massive figure seems to be sitting at the end of the table where Zebril is already sat upon his glorious throne that has been moved to accommodate at the head of the table. Some of the shorter guests kind of start walking up the staircase up to the massively tall table. Some of those who are tall enough, those being of huge or larger, seemingly going to the chairs and finding themselves a spot to sit in. Dom, you find yourself, sadly, Tez, you get excited thinking you'll finally get to sit at the adult table, shrinking down as Zebril's magic takes effect upon you, as you shrink down to Kez's height. As you three are encouraged by one of the local butlers to head towards the stairs up to the top of the table. Yes?
Like Kez's exact height, or like my
Yes.
height before?
No, like
Oh,
Kez's
so
exact
lower
height.
than Dom was before.
Yep.
Man's 9 foot.
You can now look Kez in the eyes.
Well, I'm not, because I'm mad, but...
But as you lot are kind of ushered up by the individual, on the table are massive portions that tower over you, some 10, 15 feet high, that look to be dishes of meat, foreign creatures, fish, plants, different magical beasts, some humanoids that have their skulls just kind of cracked open, as you are kind of guided towards a table, a smaller miniature table that used to look like, or looks like it used to be a thing to hold a dish of sorts, has been kind of put with a tablecloth across it to allow for shorter guests to kind of sit at as the chairs are pulled up to it, and a secondary feast is kind of set out at your guys' own portion. Now only about 20 feet from where Regan Utham and Zebril kind of sit, with another giant figure that looks to be made of solid stone kind of sitting across from the Utham. All three of them kind of beginning to cut into some of the food as Zebril begins to converse lightly with Regan Utham as you lot make your way to your seats. As you do, some of the merchants kind of sit near you a lot, but as well as Old Spurt kind of finding himself next to Eider, kind of sitting off to the side as you lot find your chairs, all sat next to each other, and Kilfrin, funny enough, sat next to Kez with Ned's spot seemingly left without a spot for himself there, as Dom finds themselves in between Eider and Kez. As you look, kind of sit at the begin to sit at the table, food being brought out. One of the butlers begins to kind of quietly kind of tap his glass, and Zebril kind of looks at you all as everyone kind of goes silent and begins to speak and goes, "Thank you all for gathering. We are here to celebrate and enjoy the respectable accomplishments of not only the unfortunate sons, but to the renewal and recognition of a good friends and a grand relationship between the kingdoms of both my honored guest here of Regan Utham and myself. May our continued relations be positive and ever prosperous," as he kind of holds a glass up, and people kind of do the same, cheersing to that. As Utham kind of starts to make a quiet conversation with Zebril in the background, the tall, stone-ish looking figure kind of just sitting there looking about, not saying anything. You lot are left to kind of enjoy some of the local feasts. A couple of jars of different colors of jelly beans kind of set out amongst the table. What looks to be different fruits, bits of what look to be chunkster meat. You recognizing the meat of Frost Willy, given the size of it, kind of cut up into smaller portions and set out. A couple of different plant-like creatures. One that looks suspiciously like Kez. Kez, as you look at it, recognizing the man-trap plant that seemed to create a perfect entombment of creatures. As you go to open the thing, just to make sure, and thankfully there's no head inside. Just what looks to be some sort of sweet liquor that kind of comes pouring out, giving the plant a very lovely aroma. As the butlers begin to pour you wine. Yeah, you can still smell. As you kind of find yourselves sitting at the table. Apologies, there we go. As you kind of grab a couple of bits and bobs of food, enjoying yourselves, Spurt kind of looks over at Kilfrin, looks over at Eider and Kez, and goes, "So, I must ask, are you lot familiar with each other?"
Who, me, no.
Your party and Kilfrin here.
No, I can't say I've met you.
Nope, don't know this guy at all.
Pleasure to meet you. Said your name is Kilfrin, or he said your name is Kilfrin?
Kilfrin, evocation specialist and rune crafter. A pleasure.
Interesting. Either Spellforge.
Oh,
Kesnan and I.
a pleasure. So I kind of look at each of the three, and I try to assess like what the problem is. And I see a cleric, I see a guy in wearing a top hat, and I see Dom. I see the issue.
I
At
will
least I
say-
think
Lack of Ned.
Eider is a well-known craftsman, like across the world. So, for your own knowledge, battlesmith he is not known for, but craftsman he is.
Yeah, it's just he's suddenly wearing a top hat. He's
And it has a monocle as well as a very lovely purple suit.
hey, I also have a monocle. I just have a blue-looking suit on.
We match twinsies.
I'm not part of the same group, I'm afraid.
Imagine not.
Now, please. Other than crafting, what do you all do? Specialize in enemies, animal hunters, something else? I kind of got the feeling from talking to your friend that you're not what the news likes to make you out to be.
I'm a
No.
healer. I'm a priest.
I think our name says about all of what I am, really.
We've just been in a lot of unfortunate situations. Roll credits.
Yeah, I was gonna say Kaz gets a few flashbacks suddenly in the background.
Only a few?
Well, in recent memory, yes.
Every other session.
He's had a lot of time to
That's what
process.
You weren't here for.
Yeah,
Feel bad.
he didn't have to process the Chunkster or the Frosted Willy fight, so he's had a bit of time to, relax and kick back a little bit and
I
unwind.
remember.
But as you guys look about, you do see Scartsmander kind of across the table, and he is doing everything not to make eye contact with you lot. As he enjoys his what
Understandable.
looks to be
Dude.
spiced blood wine and meat, as these are his last days on the surface.
Our successes are being celebrated and he doesn't even want to associate with us.
Yeah, yep. You do see as he kind of finds any excuse to try and look away to the one of the individuals to either side as he speaks.
Mm.
Oh, we were
Okay.
cooler than that, Scartspander. That's cold.
Yeah, goodness. We didn't even do anything.
As though you guys kind of look over at Kilfrin, kind of as he assesses each of you and asks you if you do anything other than crafting, and as Kaz kind of brings up the unfortunate events, Kilfrin, you realize the news about these individuals, or rather the rumors of these individuals constantly bumbling into issues and not solving it, but seemingly finding some sort of success with the situation, seems to be a bit more accurate than the whole news states.
I have to go between what they say, bumbling, to supposedly the heroes that will usher in a new era for the giant people. And Kilfrin's like, yeah, no.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
Spurk kind of looks up as you mentioned. Oh, go ahead, Kaz.
Yeah, supposedly that's also why we're here, and we haven't been on the the world scene as trying to become stronger so we can not handle situations like we have been in the past.
Probably for the best. It's been a lot of civil wars recently, now that I think about it outside.
Do you have
Not
any
best-
idea who...
Oh, yes?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, please. I was just rambling.
Do you have any idea who keeps on propping our names up? We haven't done anything, and we keep getting notoriety. I am baffled beyond words.
Oh, well, I heard the segments are written by a named the second biggest brain.
I was about to say Kilfrin just suddenly gets a picture of Daka in his head and realizes
He's one of the two main newscasters. Travels around with the other one, supposedly a mage of some kind. Writes down what he feels like that he sees.
has a shirt with the Unfortunate Sons listed on it as a big fan.
I
Turns-
think it's a cool name.
Turns out you've unfortunately made the worst, best #1 fan you can ask for.
I love these guys. I'm gonna prop them up as much as I can. They're cool.
I mean, do you read any of the papers that Pyrus as a whole puts out and similar, the other organizations?
Well, mostly whenever we're about to go try and kill something that's probably going to kill us.
Yes. You probably would have seen some of the papers signed by the second biggest brain's son.
Who's that?
Traveling with the swords.
Been out of the loop for a little while. Those swords sound new.
I was told you met their leader.
Who's their leader?
Fishman?
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Yes. The son of the one that writes those things is part of that group. They all seem to write things nowadays. Whole family. Good luck finding him to get stopped, though. Impossible to find when you want to. Shows up when you don't want him to.
God.
Blessing and
I need for the world to stop just wanting me to solve their problems. I can't solve my own.
You see, Asper kind of like puts away his like small little like setup of a mini poster of your guys' group that he was preparing to ask to be signed. Yeah, like shoves it back away.
I'll sign it. It's fine.
Kind of looks at you as he smiles and hands it over to you. Goes, actually, if you could all sign it, I could sell that for a lot of money. I'd really appreciate it. You lot are like immensely famous over in Kirkek. The Fire Giant territories have like pictures of you lot painted everywhere, depicting you lot as like heroes.
But these countries like to prop up those of the same race as them, so the Fire Giants are probably doing it because, as I just glance at Kez, not from anything he does, but the fact that he's just with you. If the Snowbeards didn't have a civil war, they'd probably be doing the same for you, as I look back at Eider.
There's just like an unbridled look of pure disgust.
It's all a propaganda game.
I just write just gotta take the poster, scribble on it as I'm not the Messiah, and
Signed, Eider.
You are the Messiah. I'm not the Messiah. Life of Eider right over here.
Yeah, as you kind of hand that over to Kez, Kez writes, "I am the Messiah."
No.
No,
I'm champion, not the Messiah.
No, do it, and then Dom can write, "No, we are not the Messiah." It's perfect.
You know what? Yeah, let's do it.
We are the Messiahs. Dom,
We are the Messiah.
No, we will not be your
Oh, we
Messiahs.
should have named our party the Second Coming.
Oh.
That would have gone well.
Well, you guys always do seem to show up after all the bad shit gets laid down, so it isn't wrong.
we just keep on getting bombarded. It's like, why didn't you do your job? It's like, I don't know who you are.
Hi, the
What do you mean?
As he kind of takes the poster and tucking it away, Spurt kind of looks over at you and goes, It's actually a pretty big thing. I've met the second biggest brain a few times when he was down traveling in the Southern Pole. Good guy. Huge fan of yours lot, though. He mentioned you guys were he saved a town while he was there. He was really impressed by some beautiful woman that was dressed in heavy armor and had this manly voice. Said it reminded him of his old, his first love, some dragon woman.
Dom, I understand. It's a very tough thing to be confused for a woman. I mean, I get that all the time, but I'm sorry it was you this time around.
Speaking of big brains, what happened to Seiji?
Spurk looks over at you as Dom, I imagine, is just processing what Kez just said.
No, Dom is Dom, who never wears heavy armor and could not be taken as a woman, is just silently eating food and is not. Debatable if he's listening. He's not said a single word in this conversation and does not say anything when his name is stated.
Fair.
I mean a big old hunk of Frost Willy.
Frost Willy? That's gross.
That's his name. That was his name,
Yeah,
Frosty.
Dom is a dick guzzler. A willy wobbler.
Do I need to roll a reflex save? Or how does it work?
No, if Kez, I don't think Kez is gonna shut that out loud. That'd be really out of there for him for character.
Yeah, no, that would really. Also, it would be very uncouth to do in a royal
Yeah,
dinner.
Lord
Yeah.
Zebral right there as
Oh,
well. Just
but-
like, this guy's ridiculous.
What Zebril, like, as he has his, like, detect thoughts just constantly going in the background, sensing that in Kez's, the back of Kez's mind as he thinks this. Not,
It feels like a mechanical clamp shut down his jaws.
yeah, and he's, like,
I
just sitting
never
there, like,
was gonna
staring.
admit
Go ahead.
Listen, I have mental restraint. Thank you very
Exactly.
much.
When Lev mentions, when Eider mentions Seji, Kilfrin kind of slowly, as he was going to say something, slowly closes his mouth and just looks at Eider for a second. He's not around anymore.
Oh, he dead.
I just kind of look sad from us.
The
Oh.
war went very bad. Very few of his people survived.
I'd heard a little bit from it from Sen, but I didn't really get a good once over on it. Damn it!
Yes, his skull was, well, last I heard before a new leader took over, the Thri-kreen, was being displayed above one of the hives.
Spurt kind of nods to that and goes, "No, it's still there."
Yeah. Figures.
Might have to do something about that.
Well, actually, as I kind of look at as, you might also want to do something about it. The new leader, well, they're called the Black Rot, if I remember correctly. Most are assuming they're a necromancer of some kind, but no one's really sure.
Kez suddenly started to put a checklist
Looks
together.
off into the distance after hearing necromancers. Just more pests.
No one really knows. All they know is some aquatic hive or other showed up out of nowhere and wiped out multiple hives, including the previous leader, within a month.
More heretics to put to the slaughter.
Any chance it's just a black dragon?
No, unless, well, news could be wrong, you never know. I think it's been a couple years since the Anvil said they were being controlled by dragons. I don't know whatever happened with that. I don't know.
No.
Weren't black dragons, though. Water dragons, usually blue-scaled.
Question: Are
Yep.
blue dragons water dragons in your world? Because usually they're the desert ones.
No, they are.
No,
they are normal dragons. Yep.
Yep.
Blue are as they are in D&D.
Gotcha. I was like, look at you're like confused. There's like blue. But they're usually the desert.
I think their classification is lung dragons.
Oh, very different.
New Jackins, those
They
guys.
have blue scales, is all I said.
Sorry, I got confused between just the color and the species.
No, large sea serpent-looking dragons, as it were.
Understood.
Somehow controlling the Thri-kreen, but that was before a new king took over, so who knows?
We have 7,000 fucking problems to solve.
Oh, the Thri-kreen aren't your problem. You'd all die immediately. That's a
I know.
national issue. That's a global issue to deal with.
Spurt kind of lightly taps his head with his pen and goes, "Technically, the Cryptic Cabal were supposed to deal with the Thri-kreen situation a little while back, but from what we understood of the reports, half of them decided that it wasn't worth fighting, and the other half decided to die like a standing and took out a whole platoon of the damn things before finally going down. The only ones that managed to actually hold the line, supposedly, in the battle." So they've got more bite in this than anyone. That Tun figure of the extraordinary gentleman, he should be one of the individuals going there himself, if I'd expect anything else. His party is the one, in fact, who got almost wiped out.
Chortling in the distance.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, Tun's gone. He's on his another mission.
It's the Echo.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're right. It's not my fight. Damn, do I wish it was.
To be honest, it's not really anyone's fight. Have to bring armies together, deal with them just for the numbers. I'd almost assure they're already fully repopulated after the last war they were in, maybe even more so. with the new land.
Spirit kind of nods that and goes, "No one'd be dumb enough to go to the old troll lands these days and like set up in the capital and try and dig up more of that calorium. All those rumors about the mercenaries doing it's all fake news. These Thrycreen are too thick down there."
As Dom gets a flashback.
Dom does audibly, not loud, but in the background, has not said a single word
I
in
know.
this conversation. Just under his breath, like it's chuckling, like. Just the most fucking, like just like under his breath, like chuckle of like sarcastic amusement, and then still says nothing.
I do turn to Dom because you fucking brought me brains from like going off with.
Oh yeah, Thrycreen brains and giant wasps and bugs, and Dom. Yeah, if you
Sorry.
look over at Dom just like kind of looks at you with raised brow.
I was like, wait, what are you talking about, Dom? You went and did that, didn't you?
Dom finishes swallowing whatever food he's just eaten, and goes, "Yes, I was there with my new brother, and we were doing exactly what we were just told was not done, so I guess I didn't do that. And the brains I brought to you just manifested. And the brains I gave to Lord Z as well, clearly fake."
Question: If you have the
Dom goes back to eating.
I just like try to like continue the bit. It's like question: If you have the potential to manifest brains, can we like workshop like a few other kinds? Maybe have a
Sorry,
kid
I
transplant
really
for
only
Ned.
specialize in bug adjacent.
Don't worry, we'll come up with something.
Yeah, can I look? Who said? I didn't catch it. Who said that comment about that being just rumors and made up?
Spurk, the guy who whose actual name is Sock in common.
Yeah, Sock. Yeah, I look at Sock and I just I'm looking at him and I said, "Impossible, huh?" So 100 couldn't have killed 100 then.
He shakes his head and he goes, "If those cryptic cabal fellas couldn't manage to hold the front lines by themselves, you're telling me a bunch of random adventurers can do it in a castle? No way. Those places are thick with the bugs everywhere."
Not random adventurers. And Dom pulls up his sleeve to reveal his Golden Axe Mercenary Company tattoo I got a while ago, and flex it and goes, "Golden Axe Mercenary Company, actually. Quite competent."
Dom,
And
you're
pulls
cheating
his
on
sleeve
us?
back down.
As Dom is now cheating on the
What did I just
unfortunate sons.
Oh, I said, Dom, you're cheating on us?
I think I told the party, out of character, I think I told the party. Dom, like, showed the party his tattoo and he got it, yeah. He's made peace. He made peace with his brother-in-law and they've been chilling. I don't know what to tell you guys.
I can't believe there's another adventuring party.
Yeah, I've been going to get you milk, and I've brought the milk. It's just, I was with someone else during.
You neglected to tell me you went on an adventure with the milkman first.
Guys, the milkman's cool, and he offered me a good XP opportunity.
Just like how Alfred Stone offered Ned a great deal for a tattoo.
Okay.
Alright, Alfred Stone offered a tramp stamp.
That's fair.
Yeah. Yeah, it was optional to get the tattoo. I agreed because I thought it'd be funny. And then Ned stole my thunder by getting a more silly tattoo in a sillier spot.
Not only a tramp stamp, he also got a full back tattoo.
Tattoo. He's got a lot of ink now.
No.
Yeah, I think Dom just sits there, like, he's still clearly, like, he's mad about what happened earlier, but now he's more amused that this guy, he's sitting here with, like, all of the souls of the Thrycreen he killed, and this guy who's, like, 10 feet away from him or whatever, it's like, you couldn't have done that, and Dom's just, I was not gonna correct him. I was just gonna sit there amused, super fucking amused, because Lord Z and Eider both saw the brains I brought, so, like, they know I'm not lying.
That's true.
That's funny.
As the three of you kind of sitting there, as you don't really respond, just smirking as you continue enjoying your food. Kez kind of popping in the different tasting jelly beans, ecstatic that he can get different flavors from these things. Though his eyes starting to glaze over slightly as almost a drunkenness is starting to kind of take a bit of Kez as he gets a good strong buzz going from these things.
Hey, you know how hard it is to get a buzz when you have like a fortitude save of 11, like a plus 11? It's hard, guys. The horrors of war affects me, and I need something to take the edge off.
Yeah,
I'm still having nightmares from the siege.
Hang on, I have an image for this.
I was gonna say, he's got the, Kez is going kind of like picking through the different colors, finding the blue ones as he enjoys the taste and sees visions of goblins and ecstasy as he gets to just enjoy the light glazing of the buzz kind of in his mind.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the incredibly inebriated war veteran by the end of this.
It's true.
Listen, the Siege of King's End was brutal.
It was.
Got some fully PTSD.
And the worst part for the viewers, we never even made a video for the war. It was a footnote in this story. That's how bad their lives are.
That's how bad it was. It was so bad we couldn't even record an episode for it.
It just points more to why Eider's point of not going out there to fight these people until you're ready. But no, as we return back to the scene, as you three are enjoying your food, kind of taking a moment to eat, we're going to take a quick 5-minute break for those who need to take care of their cats, grab some water, and anything else. We'll be right back. Alright, we return as you lot kind of begin to enjoy continue enjoying the food as Zebril kind of clings his glass once more, getting the attention of the feast goers as he looks down and smiles at you lot and goes, "Now, I want to take a moment not only to recognize the grandness of what this group, the Unfortunate Sons, have managed to achieve, but the story that they have managed to put out into the world thanks to the fans that they have built up. They truly are a blessing to these lands and something to be recognized as a host of my kingdom. I hope that all of you will join me in a quick toast to their not only great deeds, but also their hopeful futures." As he kind of holds his glass up and goes, "To the Unfortunate Sons," as the entirety of the crowd kind of follows suit.
So in a regular story, this is me, Hunter, talking. This is when all shit goes wrong.
And then the song and the Reigns of Castamere start playing.
Yeah, right. This is the type of shit where like the Red Wedding happens, you know? It's like, oh my god, all the crossbowmen from the rafters. They're shooting at everyone. Oh my god, everyone's dead.
This is the part in the story where everyone takes a drink and like 5 people drop dead because there's been poisoners. And like as a character with poison crafting, I'm really tempted to check my drink now, dude. This is so scary.
This is suspicious. It's too quiet. I'm used to loud. I'm used to horrors behind every corner. What's going on?
I sense motive the vibe of the room.
You know what? Sure.
I could die for drinking this. 1 second. I begin double fisting the fucking drinks.
Eider takes Cirque's drink out of his hand and like downs his too. I think like tries.
It's like I long for freedom.
I will say, as you taste it, and the rest of those attending seem to drink it, they seem to enjoy the light taste of what is a mix of ambrosia and cherry that seems to quite in a mellow flavor seems to come together quite nicely. A little bit of spice to it, but otherwise seems unbothered as each of you begin to take a sip. No one, after a moment, seemingly dying, Eider to his disappointment as he looks about. Utham kind of taking a drink of it as he kind of smiles, a light smirk on his face. As he does so, the merchants seem to all kind of follow suit. None seem bothered as they continue going back to their feast. Utham kind of looking about as he kind of like whispers something over to Zebril leaning in. And Zebril kind of speaks up again and goes, "And finally, I'd appreciate one last recognition of not only the Unfortunate Sons, but I want to recognize the recently announced and declared champion of a god, Kesnanok himself, having been recognized by Ella Ugbo and her church. A few churches now beginning to pop up amongst even Utham's lands as they start to recognize his holiness as the proper champion of the god of death. I recognize you here, and I want to know that while I do not accept your religion in my lands, I do want to show my appreciation and respect to it by, of course, offering any of my thing I can in the form of the food here today, as compensation for the kindness you have shown me.
I stand up and I bow and say, your kindness is greatly appreciated.
You do, and kind of smiles, and people kind of give a few light claps as they begin drinking, and Zebra kind of nods as the festivities kind of continue. Music begins to play as while you don't hear it with your ears, your mind begins to feel the music kind of playing in your head, soothingly, but yet kind of almost to a light jazz-like sound. It's mellow but fun to listen to as you continue enjoying your food. God damn it, either. Kez is looking around nervously, Dom head down, expecting everything to go bad. Eider still wishing death was it going on, in his eyes clearly showing it. And at this point, Kilfrin really realizes why this party is so messed up.
Listen, after he's heard everything that we've been through, I feel like it's understandable why we're very uneased by the calm.
Dom didn't even get into the cataclysm stuff or the thing with my fucking dad and having to fight my dad's corpse.
I see them all.
Let me fill in the blanks for you, my friend.
I see them all, and Kilfrin just thinking, man, I'm a death mage and I'm not this paranoid.
As you kind of sit there enjoying, one of the merchants from a few chairs over kind of looks over at you lot. His somewhat what looks to be dragonkin-like appearance, a little bit dark in scale, almost like obsidian, kind of looks over at you, smiling as his wings kind of unfurl in his very beautiful black onyx attire. As he looks over at you and smiles and goes, "You lot, you're the unfortunate sons. I've heard about you. You lot work with the Ironhearts, right?"
I kind of turned, shrugged. I was like, kind of. James is my cousin.
Yeah, I've seen you. You were walking amongst him in what was the name of the city we were in? Manners Grove. That was it. You were amongst the airships. I saw you when I was passing by, heading north.
I've been to Manners Grove.
What?
As you think back, Eider, you did, because you went to go visit them when they were in Manners Grove in the Smoglands. That was
that's right.
what ship
I
that
got the tattoo.
Mm-hmm. It's also where I think you got a bunch of bronze or copper.
Tattoos.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm.
You just got,
Don't worry
one
about
sign and
Kez.
nothing else.
Everyone getting inked up.
Yeah, right.
Okay, mine
Yeah,
is actually
dude.
just legitimate spell tattoos.
That's
Because I
true.
went to the
We're
place that I actually sold.
Who did you sell your soul to, Eider?
We're the unfortunate souls, bro. We gotta be
Souls?
Unfortunate souls.
Unfortunate
Well,
son.
well,
Unfortunate soul.
Both are correct, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I might actually have. There's a good intro.
Unfortunate souls. There's a lot of soul stuff going on in the party, you know.
Welcome back to These Poor Fucks.
Yeah, right. As he looks over at you, kind of smiling, and goes, "Yeah, I know I've seen you. I think you were there when they had that fella, tall troll-looking fella, and his little cat friend."
What?
Yeah, name's what was his name? It was like something weird, something like you put in your hair. Nair.
Oh, Nar.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Nar. Come to think of it, I need to check in on him. I haven't heard from him in a while.
Oh man, you'd be put out on that one. The rumors I heard is that James abandoned him to some kidnappers and just let him to die.
What?
Yeah, there's even supposedly rumors that he left the new heir to the Genasi throne, the Emporium, left him with kidnappers of some of the Morans. No one could believe it, but supposedly that's the talk of every black market around.
I'm gonna have to kick my cousin's ass.
Good luck with that. He's got some followers. Hey, I mean, he was cutting down mercenaries and pirates up in Normax territory like it was nothing from what I've been hearing. Killed a whole nest of hydras by himself.
I'm sure Rollerman won't really mind. He might join in. It might be cathartic for him.
He says quietly thinking about it. Well, she kind of looking at you as I kind of thinks about kind of taking that as a conversation's done. And that kind of looking up at the other two and goes, I gotta ask, Mr. Champion of a God, you looking for some logistics by chance?
What do you mean?
Like someone to, make sure your church gets goods, make sure that anything you're looking to buy is always arriving. I recommend work for a very unique organization, and I would be happy to assist your churches in making sure they're well outfitted, for a price, of course, discounted for the Holy Mother as she is. But, merchants got to make a living.
What's your offer?
Whatever you need. Arms, armor, craftsmen, slaves, holy water, magic. I can get it all. My connections run deep, and they're all legitimate. No black market dealings. All my stuff is done out of Diamond's Death, and I work, hand in hand amongst the market stalls when they're not on fire.
I currently don't even know the state of my current church. Besides that, I know it just got firebombed. Before I left, I had alchemists. I had trade with the ports in town.
You're the one from King's End, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Your church got firebombed. They were breaking it down to rebuild it, so it was too small. I was there. Shoot, I watched him do it. A couple of young gentlemen and some pretty lady that looked, funny enough, a lot like you. Went in, kind of breaking down the building, burning it up. Had to just burn the whole damn thing down because it became, what'd they say? Corrupted by some foreign god? I think her name was, she was in the news. Oh.
Wolfatara?
That's it, yeah. Said they found some emblem of hers inside the church, and so the town burned it down and have been rebuilding since. Well, at least they were when I was there. I sold them a couple pounds of marble, made a nice little fortune. That's how I found out you were so wealthy. If you don't mind my honesty as a merchant here, I don't like to do business with those who can't afford my products, of course.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand. You want to make sure whoever you're dealing with has the funds to actually, pay you for your worth.
Exactly. I don't deal in information, but I do travel quite far and everywhere I go, so... and if you're interested, I'd be happy to speak with you later. Maybe set up a contract and get some work going. I'm here in town doing some business of my own.
Mm-hmm. If it doesn't happen now in town, is there a way I can get in contact with you down the road when we get everything settled, what we're doing here?
Yeah, if you go to Diamond's Death, go to the embassy, you'll find me, or you'll find my assistant working there. I'm always happy to give any assistance I can.
Would you mind writing your name down so I, do not forget?
He smiles and goes, of course. He goes, my name is Karakatam. I'm of the Greg's Maritam clan. He's third, fourth uncle to me, something of those sorts. I'm low on the totem pole, so they got me in the worst jobs, as you can imagine.
Well, have you seen him lately? Have you seen Greg lately?
Well, I travel here and there on occasion, but not as of recent. He's been mostly in Gem Cutter's Port, last I heard.
I'm just curious if he got any good use of that staff that I helped him make.
Are you the one who gave him the big golden dick?
No.
Oh,
I meant
no.
like a wizardly. I meant like literally a wizardly staff.
Oh no, he's been walking around with some giant golden dong as a staff that's got a bunch of gemstones in the damn thing and casting out of it like it was no other. He calls it, what was it? His glazing stick.
I just look in sheer abject horror and just turn away from that conversation.
Like, it's got, as you turn away, kind of blocking out as he's about to describe what the ruby at the tip is carved into, as you do not want to know, looking over, as Kez kind of pondering the idea of getting logistics and realizing that this Cirque guy is not telling maybe the full truth.
Yeah.
Or may not have full information.
I knew something weird was going on. I was right.
We never
Should've
get
said
approached by friendly NPCs.
Yep.
There's no
I'm
such thing as a
right
friendly
here.
NPC.
Girlfriend is just like looking at you
You're
lot with
not an
concern.
NPC. You're trying to offer us therapy, so we'll pay you money.
I don't need your money. You're broke compared to me.
You're not an NPC. You're a
Not for long.
NPC.
Oh, that's true. Justin, you don't count as an NPC. You're
You're a non-player character.
You're not getting Killfriend to help you on your adventures.
NPC.
No matter how much you beg. I'm not giving you the scary wizard.
All right, so
You
I
don't-
take leadership.
No.
Dude,
Uh,
you ain't got leadership score to take Kilfred.
I know that. I don't have
As-
leadership score worth shit anyway.
As you continue enjoying your food, the feast kind of winds down as the food is taken away and the tables have changed out. The cloth seems to be pulled out from underneath you as the table changes to what looks to be an open, almost dance floor. A small gemstone beginning to lower from the ceiling, it beginning to glimmer as the music changes to something a bit more upbeat, and a tavern styled bar is kind of set up on the end of the table for you lot. While Zebril and Regan Utham kind of stand up with their third companion, this seemingly frost giant made of solid stone, and the three of them head off into what looks to be a separate room, leaving you lot here with the other guests to enjoy yourselves.
Oh, so just a question. Because I did my whole crazy man conspiracy board, I assume since Zebril saw that and kind of understands what we have discovered, if he had not already figured that out already.
You did, from what you can tell, well, you didn't get reward for anything, so it's unclear if Zebril knew or didn't know. However, yes, Zebril did see the whole board about there being individuals who seem to be masking Azja Kicks and seem to be masking amongst the 7 deadly sins as their kind of focus, if you will.
And that there might be one in this town or soon to come to this town.
Yep, as the large star of a massive magic circle seems to be kind of set up with the direct point being here. However, Zebril, who has his spell at this point, and I will, as I quote it, fuck off Morin, has cast, is a little less concerned as the ships have yet, to his knowledge, come aboard, or come to his shores. But as you kind of sit there, enjoying the music, the three of you kind of standing around, Kilfrin still with you lot as he kind of watches, kind of hanging out with you as he enjoys a drink himself. Cirque and the rest of the merchants seem to have kind of found themselves up onto the dance floor, dancing with, well, what you lot see as illithids, what they see as beautiful women of their own races. Yes, they are.
I sadly shake my head. They probably know, but still.
As you kind of realize, this is all part of like the whole like joy of coming to Zebril's Lands. It's the experience you get, you know. Why is Ida roll a natural 1? What was that? Oh
I'm
no!
just rolling the amount of psychic damage I take watching an elephant throw it back.
Wait, we're throwing it back?
They don't throw it back from the hips. They throw their head back, and you can hear their brains clap.
Oh
my god!
That's worse.
Oh my god! Their lobes.
As you watch their lobes jostlate to the groove. It's a lot of eyebrow wiggling and a lot of tentacle moving for a lot of their dancing. It's not as much of the body like moving about.
I just feel somehow unclean.
If I brought out the thrusting, this place could
I'm gonna go talk to the Regan now.
Oh, god damn it. as Eider mentions that, looking at as one of the waiters kind of walks over, Eider, as you see this gorgeous-looking snowbeard woman kind of walking over you, and very little worn on her, and looks and gives you a wink as she holds out a glass for you. As you say this, kind of turning to walk away.
I'm taking two, if she has a tray, I try and sneak another couple off and just fucking shotgun.
Alright. As you start taking the green liquid, as these small little black olive objects and kind of downing them. It is strong. Give me a fortitude save, Eider.
Go, gadget, forward, save. Well, that didn't go great. I got an 18.
Oh.
2.
As you kind of down
the
first one kind of goes down comfortably. As the second one though goes down, you suddenly feel the alcohol actually hit Eider. As suddenly your eyes start to kind of gloss and your head starts to swoon a little bit. And as you look about, you know it's Nilithid, but man, she does look good. As you look, and looking over at the jostling heads, and you realize it's just not worth it. Another one of those, and maybe, but not yet. As you start walking away,
Dream.
It's I reject thoughterine.
Realizing this is some strong stuff and making a note, take it with you later.
Does Eider need to take a vow of chastity?
No, nobody's interested in me.
It's just concentrated dopamine as you walk off, kind of turning. As you hear Eider, though, mention that he is going to go talk to Regan Utham, Kez and Dom, are you going to follow Eider, or are you going to stay here, kind of enjoying the music and the scene?
It's party time! P-A-R-T. Why?
I would...
Okay.
I think... Oh, am I muted? No, okay. I think Dom would go, not necessarily eavesdrop, but just because Dom wants to wait for his turn to speak with Regan Utham, both to catch up with old Pops and also my new mentor friend guy, random wizard man, suggested I do it, and that seems like a plot segue, so...
Okay. Alright, as you start kind of following after Eider, Kez kind of beginning to bob his head to the music, kind of making his way down onto the dance floor. Kez, I assume you don't have performed dance.
Absolutely not.
I would say, I 100% think you should take it at some point as a skill if you get a chance.
I mean, would you allow me to roll just a regular charisma check?
Yeah, I'll take a charisma check for it, though. Yeah.
Does he get a bonus as a femboy if he throws it back?
No, because he's not going to, because, well, Kez may embrace his appearance. He doesn't dress like his appearance.
23.
23. Kez, as you get out onto the dance floor, you realize you've never danced before.
Mm-hmm.
So you picture in your head, what would it be like to smack the crap out of these people on the field of battle and start mimicking that to a bit more to the beat, and it works as people start cheering you on. You start kind of dancing around, swinging your hands, and people are just trying to start copying you in the random motions.
This is what I like to call the cha-cha slide.
Kez notably having kind of watched his hand to make sure he doesn't take out his hammer by accident and smack one of the poor merchants, because with the force he's moving his hand around with.
Now that's what I call a dance battle.
Alright. Okay. As Eider kind of heads over, or let me jump over to him, Kez enjoying himself, making friends amongst the merchants, something popular. And Kez, I'll send you a note later for some discounts that you're gonna get for this. You've got a fan club coming for you. You're gonna be worse than Sprungus at this rate, or Frungus, sorry. Yeah, right. Jumping over to Eider though. As you kind of head down these stairs along the end of the table, as you watch Kez kind of head in, seeing Dom behind you as Dom kind of jogs up to catch up to you, the two of you kind of head down the stairs, and as Dom kind of begins to increase in size as you hit the bottom of the staircase, growing back to the normal size. Dom, the spell, thankfully, losing its effect as you grow back to your huge, and can look over the table now, seeing Kez fully breaking down, dancing. As people try to mimic him.
Can the architecture support me? I assume so.
Oh, easily.
That rule.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Okay, yeah. Then thankfully. Dom,
Yeah.
Now that Dom is used to being huge, he doesn't like being shrunk. It feels weird. His
How's it
balance is
feel to
off.
be me-sized?
Awful. Would not recommend.
Yeah, I also hate it. Remember, I used to be a lot bigger than I am now.
Yeah.
Eider standing over here watching all of you talk about Latala jokes as...
Yeah, I was gonna say, Levido is being quiet in the
Look.
background.
I don't fucking need size category to kick y'all's asses.
No, you're not
Speak
built
your
for it.
handicap. I don't need it.
I benefit from it.
But as Eider, as you see Dom kind of grow back to size, as the two of you start kind of following down one of the side corridors after Zebril and Regan Utham, seeing the large stone guardian kind of standing in front of a door, you have a moment if you two would like to discuss before you make it as. Like the large room, the large dining hall, Zebril has seemingly intended to make his fortress this time as big as humanly possible, Eider, to your dismay with how far you have to walk.
Yeah, admittedly, I did want to, like,
Yeah.
even if he didn't offer, I was gonna try and sneak it in. Like, just kind of like turn to Dom and say, "You're doing all right. You've been a little quiet this evening. I know the fight was not, well, because said some unkind things."
He is upset and passionate, and I'm afraid equally passionate about the things I care about. Butting heads happens. I'm a professional. We're as professional as we can be. We will be fine, I'm sure.
That's not what I asked.
I am doing fine then. And I'll look at you in the eye if you're looking up at me, and I don't think you can fail it because it's a fear effect, so my eye thing happens, but it doesn't do anything. I just feel the need to say that because I got it, and it's
Mhm.
not useful, but I have it. And I will, Dom will roll a bluff if you're gonna try to sense motive. Like, I'll just be outright. He doesn't want you to get a read on his mental state. His wall is up. So if you're like out of character, if you're wanting to actually get a good answer out of me, you're gonna have to roll for it, buddy.
Okay. I don't think I can succeed, but it's worth a shot.
Well, let's see what you got.
You know, with my luck, with me and my luck, I
Well, I have a
need a
plus
better
0.
die.
And I think you have a plus bonus of not 0 to your bluff.
I mean, I
see,
can
I rolled an 8.
Oh, don't worry. I also rolled an 8, but I get a bonus to bluff of 11, so 19.
Yeah, as you, Eider unfortunately not be able to get a read much on Dom as Dom tries to keep himself to kind of emotionless, a poker face. Clearly, well, not able to get emotive on him, it's clear that Dom is hiding something from you.
Yeah, I think it's very clear Dom, especially with how he's been this whole dinner, does not wish to open up, probably to Kez specifically, but also does not seem willing to extend a courtesy to you, although I think you gleam, even with an 8, he is not, like, necessarily mad at you in the way he was, like, got upset with Kez, but he's very clearly, like, in a mood in which he does not want to talk. So you are welcome to keep pressing if you wish, but he is locked, and he has 5 locks, and he's eaten all the keys.
Yeah, I just kind of like sigh and says, "I don't know why you can't trust me, Dom. I've given you everything I can to try and help you out with your goals, our goals, everyone's goals. It's fine you don't want to let me in, but I just wish you would. I care about you as a person, Dom. We're friends. I don't just keep you alive or try to keep you alive because it's just beneficial to me."
Arthur, I think you are an honorable man, and I think you have done well, given the pressure that was put on you to so soon after joining be our leader. I think anyone else in your position might have failed. I certainly would have failed. For that, I commend you. But do not act like knowing me, knowing us, leading us has been nothing but a burden you've seemed eager to leave. I appreciate your concern. I understand me in an unwell mental state is a risk to us. I will not jeopardize the safety of the party for emotions. And so you, as leader, can rest. I can focus on doing what must be done.
As Ida takes a moment to process that.
Yeah, it's not a lie, is it? Hey, Eider, tell me I'm lying. I'll sense motive.
God damn it.
Hey, all right, I don't have to role play for the love of God.
No, no, joking.
As the two of you kind of make it to the door, though, the large frost giant made of almost solid stone seems to kind of look down at you a lot. Begins to kind of look in and kind of seeing Utham, who gives a nod, kind of leaves the door open slightly, letting Eider pass. But as Dom goes to kind of follow, he seems to put his large hand to stop you for a moment.
That's fine. I won't fight if I need to wait my turn.
Eider, as you kind of head inside, you see Zebril and Regan Utham are kind of talking, seeing what looks to be a short tabaxi with glimmering red eyes, his orange skin and bright blonde fur kind of glimmering, a bit older and a bit more gray as he looks down at you, kind of enjoying a drink as he sits at a small little, what looks to be little throne chair, the size in the comparison to Zebril and Regan Utham of a dollhouse, like, prop, as he like sits up and like cheers with them as they're like chatting between the three of them.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I have like a snap to fucking war moment.
Don't worry, it's not the young one. This is the old one.
Well, it's like I just like have like a immediately like war is at hand, and then like take stock of like who's in the fucking room. Realizing that, like, even if it is, this is not the time for that shit.
I mean, to be fair, red eyes is also usually a hallmark of another individual as well.
Yes. As you look this individual up and down, you do hear Zebril and Regan Utham call it, referring to him as Crump Senior.
Like visibly relax.
Breath out.
Like, I know Eider's not an intimidating individual, but I have more magic than anyone should, probably.
Yeah. As you look up...
Crump Senior is actually a Morin.
Oh, you're right.
Christ.
As you look up... Thankfully, that's not the case. Zebril kind of looks down at you with a warm smile. Right now, currently in what looks to be a slight dragonkin-like form with his bulbous brain kind of slightly sticking out of a beautiful crown that kind of props it up slightly behind him. As he looks down to you and goes, "Oh, Eider, please, speak. I assume you're enjoying the festivities."
Oh, yes. Thank you so much for inviting us. It's been... honestly, your kindness knows no bounds. Between the help you've given us on the island and, well, the rest of everything just in totality. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt a meeting of any kind. I just needed to talk shop with Regan Utham if possible.
Kind of looks at Regan Utham, who kind of nods and kind of looks over at Crump Senior, and kind of stands with his glass, kind of smiles and gives a light bow to you and goes, "I appreciate your kind words. Me and Crump Senior here had our business to discuss anyways. I can spare Regan Utham a few moments. It sounds like his adopted son is also out front, so I will come and nab him once you lot are done. There's plenty of time for me and him to enjoy each other's company while the festivities are on, of course." So he kind of like gives another light bow to you and smiles and picks up Crump in his hand as Crump's like not even like having to move as the little like prop table and chair are picked up and like taken with him. Several like carries him like a small toy out of the room and heads into the back of the room onto through a doorway and closes it behind him, leaving you there as Regan Utham kind of looks down at you and goes, "Yes, Eider, what do you need?"
Oh, I had a prototype I wanted to show you. Things been going a little awry. And, well, my items keep on waking up. I seem to recall you having a similar predilection to a certain extent.
Yes, I've done some research into a few bloodlines. yours is not as familiar to me, but if you're related to that James individual that has been on the world news, if you're familiar, you do have demonic ancestry.
Shit, I thought it was just because of Dom and my connection, but with the belt.
What Dom is going through, from what I can understand of it, the few views I've gotten of it, I think Dom is regressing in our species. Something that happened, a species of us before we split amongst the many different giants. I could be wrong, but that is my current hypotheses. You, however, like your aunt, I believe are at least 3/4 demonic, which would mean that if you are related to the Stone Clan, you'll have a strong demonic ancestry, and then with the Meadmancer bloodline as well, there's a good chance you may have even stronger. I'm not familiar enough with your genealogy specifically to be able to tell you, but I could look into it if you'd like.
There's like pause, like confused for like aunt. I don't have an aunt.
I believe their name was, what was it? It was in the news recently. Syndra, that was it.
I had an uncle Cinder. Never had a family member by the name of Syndra.
I've met your uncle Cinder. This would be his sister. From my understanding, she was sent abroad. I don't know much else beyond that.
What? I don't think you can have a sibling.
Have you come to discuss with me the genealogy of your family?
Nope, sorry, got off track. I like pull out like the bone handle and like prototype of the little item I've been working on. You know, like kind of like this massive like roll like of like elaborate plans on like vellum and parchment and everything. Just start like setting it out on like the thing. It's like, well, here's the rub. There's like offer him like the object to inspect on top of it.
And looks at it and goes, well, it seems your items are awakening, which is unique. If I'm correct on your blood, you should be more set for something more combat related. You shouldn't be crafting anything that should give it. Which makes me wonder if maybe something as a result of a mixture with Domnunder's blending, maybe we're reacting to your own. It's quite fascinating, actually. Yeah, I'd love to study you at some point, but for now I think it best you continue on living, as it were. So, if I may give some recommendations as he starts kind of correcting a few numbers, adjusting the plans a little bit, and goes, there's a few creatures I think you might want to look into that might better your items, but you are looking to avoid demonicizing yourself, I guess we'll use as the word for the time being. I don't
know that I care.
Well?
The more I learn about the demons, the more I don't particularly see them as necessarily bad things, as much as they're just, well, the opposite side of a coin of a god, it seems like.
As is the truth to all history, those who fail to succeed always end up on the wrong side. So, I mean, you aren't probably wrong with that, but awakening your bloodline could also cause more problems. Something to concern yourself with, as your aunt has already managed to swear to one of the ancient noble houses, one that I have confirmed is still active in Abaddon.
Damn. I don't suppose Domnander ever told you about our small... Well, actually, he wasn't there for that one.
Gutham kind of gives you a puzzled look.
If I show you something, can you promise not to freak out and immediately try and kill me?
No.
Right, I won't show it to you.
Understood. So is that all that you needed?
Yeah, more or less. I think Dom needs you more in a parental role right now, but we've had a hard time.
Dom is an adventurer and needs to grow to the adulthood they have ascertained. If they cannot, well, then they need to understand that they have already failed in their mission.
Like just kind of like look like little displays is like, oh, I wouldn't pry into your relationship with your own adopted flesh.
He nods and goes, "It's probably for the best. Giant culture is a little bit different than your own culture. We do not coddle our young."
Just kind of like nod and just kind of like exit and like send Dom in.
And nod, a little bit of awkward silence for a moment, and then turn to head to the door. A door kind of still slightly cracking open as you get closer. As you walk out, seeing Dom kind of standing there, leaning against the giant or the pillar of the wall, kind of staring at this stone giant, trying to see if it's blinking or not. As Dom kind of inspects this dude, trying to figure out who this is, as Dom's never seen them before.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck?
Not blinking, just continuously staring forward, seemingly unbothered by Dom's like glance. As either you kind of step out. Either as you look up, yeah, go ahead.
I was like, well, your turn, Dom Under.
I think, can I get a read on what kind of state Eider leaves the conversation in? I don't think I was close enough to overhear, but can I get a gauge of, like,
That's
if
up to Eider.
this conversation with Utham was a good one or was a bad one? Is he breaking more unfortunate news, or...
Eider, do you look depressed? Do you look happy? What's the emotion on your face as you come out?
I'm definitely
Somber.
on like a somber kind of mood because I was like trying to like
Okay.
get. It was like, Dom's having a bad time. It's like they need to sink or swim. It was like, well, that's an asshole thing to say.
Explains a lot, doesn't it, about Dom now, doesn't it? I think maybe there's a lot of context you just gained that otherwise was
Great.
not said out loud.
Great
I
relationship.
don't know. I didn't sense motive, so I couldn't get it.
Fuck. As Eider kind of somberly lets let you know that it's your turn, or that he's, or it's all yours, as he kind of walks
Yeah.
by, looking up at the
I think,
large creature.
Yeah, Dom enters and kind of looks at the creature a little bit confused, but, if it's here and Zebril and Utham are chill with it, then it can't be that much of a threat.
As you
So-
head in, Dom, for a moment, Eider, as you kind of start heading down the hallway, you can hear the crowd is clapping. Kez has an audience as you look out there. Like, he is breaking it down, and people are into it. He's got a small group dance going as he's going into it. The hip thrusts are strong with this one.
Oh no!
Oh my gosh, he's saying some fucked up shit in Goblin.
Yeah.
I would have expected the fucking stone man and leave Kez to clap in peace.
Yeah, as Eider just kind of watches the staying away, not going up the stairs and heading off. All right.
I recognize danger when I hear it.
That's true, and as you hear the Goofy movie music beginning to kick in and recognize the situation as it is, Kaz is best off left alone in that situation. As you kind of start heading over towards a little spot kind of that you can find in the room to kind of set yourself up and relax near the stairs.
I want to inspect the stone man.
Oh, you want to
I wanna know if
expect
this
this
fucker
stone?
is-
Okay.
I want to know if this fucker is a construct.
Give me a survival or a knowledge nature real quick before we jump to Dom's scene.
Yeah, nature.
Yeah, Kez, exactly. Yep. What was his name? Maxie. Maxie's dancing the goddamn thing. Fantastic. Great song too. 35. And this is survival or knowledge nature?
Knowledge nature.
There is not a single creature that matches this thing in the textbook that you see. The closest creature that you recognize this is the listed apex monster of the dragon golems. It looks like, from what it appears, that this may be a rough version of something similar that Regan Utham has put together, or, in theory, more likely, found and managed to get under his command.
Well, I know what I'm doing for the rest of the night. Until I get told to go away.
Well, this creature is not phased by you, poking and prodding it. It's completely just going to stand there until ordered otherwise, so you can have your fun. As you begin to prod and look at it, inspecting it, making drawings of every nook and cranny that you can. Kaz in the background's music kind of helping you along to the vibe as you kind of get into a groove of it.
Stay alive, stay alive.
Kaz is creating music of his own as the music seems to adjust and change to his mind as everyone else hears it. Dom, as you kind of stand there, you hear the heavy music in the background kind of playing as Kaz begins like singing alongside his dancing as it echoes through the entirety of the chamber. Regan Utham kind of sits there, a glass of what looks to be a thick red wine, kind of in what looks to be a heavy troll or a large troll skull that he's kind of drinking from. As he looks down at you and gives a nod and goes, Domnander.
Regan Utham.
What do I owe this honor today?
Can I? Okay, I know I make a meme of it. Has Utham ever greeted me like that before in our times?
No,
I
you
don't know
get
if
the
this is
sense
difference
that
between.
this seems to be
Yeah, go
more that he is treating you as a proper adventurer and not as
Okay.
his son. This isn't like, oh, hey, daddy's home, basically, kind of situation.
I was gonna say I didn't think that I know they've
Daddy.
had like professional meetings, but I didn't know if this was like this is Utham being professional or this is an imposter.
No, this
You're
is
not.
100%.
Good, because that's how Dom was approaching the situation anyway. So yeah, I think Dom like briefly takes a knee or kind of whatever like frost giant salute is done towards the Reagan. I wanted to speak with you briefly about matters I felt were important for you to be made aware of, and that court mage of yours suggested I speak to you, made it seem like perhaps you had a business to discuss with me.
He looks you up and down and goes, I have no business to discuss with the unfortunate sons. I can see clearly you're already embracing your madness. There's nothing left I can warn you of. You clearly have no care for my words or respect for my intentions, so I will treat you as the adventurer you are. You will, if you wish to embrace your insanity and continue with these operations after I told you not to and had requested it, and you chose to ignore me. With that,
I
recognize you are no longer the adopted son that left my territory. You are now the adventurer of the unfortunate sons. Prove to me that you deserve the other title once more, and I might consider you back.
my Reagan, I don't understand. What
You're right, you do not.
operations was I've not done anything I know of or believe would be against your orders. My mission is still my mission. I've spoken
You were
to you.
told no more graphs. I warned you out of a kindness as my son. You chose to get another one. I'm not left without my sources. Zebril did tell me exactly what came of that arm. You chose to go against my wishes. Now recognize that your insanity has taken you, and go forth as the adventurer you are.
I did not hear word of you saying the graph I have now, the tentacle arm. It was a gift from Lord Z. From what I understood, you were okay with it. I did not think he would know how to do graphs without your instruction, without you assisting him. I've lost the graph. I've not taken one since. I would not without speaking to you. I don't understand. The last we spoke was when I got my most recent graph. I've not done it since then.
You have made a choice. Your insanity prevents you from coming back to my court. Your insanity makes you a danger to my heirs and the future of my nation. Your arm makes you a threat to my lands. I make clear now, Domnander. You went against my wishes, against my views, chose to take an Illithid arm. While I recognize it was a gift, you could have chosen to turn it away. You could have given any number of reasons why. You chose to accept this, and you embraced the insanity that will now break you with time. It does not matter what my personal feelings are towards you anymore, Domnander. You've forced my hand. You are a threat to me and my people. When you can prove that you're not, I may consider in recognizing you once again as my child. Until that day comes, I will not help you or assist you any longer.
I understand, my Reckon. I
Good.
will see to it that my wrongs are made right.
Good.
I think unless
Mhm.
Utham has anything more for Dom, Dom will adjourn any business he has early to go leave, and I actually want to probably attempt to leave the banquet or leave at least the main hall. He said that the tentacle arm was one of the main reasons he was mad at me, correct?
Correct. Now, I'm going to ask you to give me an intelligence check before you go lop your arm off as you run outside.
Yeah, no, definitely is the necessary. I'm just gonna tell you now, Dom's in a bad mental state, and my intelligence is only a +1, so this is gonna go great, guys.
I think you have to have a plus -4 to know that you shouldn't self-mutilate, but like that's just animal
Hey,
intelligence.
it worked out fine for Ned.
It's true.
Yeah, but he
Ned
was
was
poisoned.
dying literally because of poison.
I got a 19
19.
on my intelligence roll.
Dom, as you head out, kind of seeing Eider inspecting the construct and kind of taking a moment as you try and organize your thoughts as everything kind of swims through it. Now, as Eider doesn't seem interested in talking to you, he makes a great person to kind of watch as he works, as it kind of drones for a minute as you think and realize what seems to be implied here, or what you kind of come to realization, is that this isn't something Utham did out of a hatred for you. This wasn't a disavowal. You are an actual danger because of your insanity, the thing that you are kind of wrestling with in the background, as you think about how you would treat those the giants back in the home court that were weaker than you, that did decide to serve the god that he personally serves himself. You would probably kill them, as you start to realize. You would slaughter most of them. They go against everything you believe in, and they serve something out of weakness. He's not wrong. Regan Utham, in all account, is trying to save you. He's trying to, in a sense, as you realize, trying to make it so you don't kill the people you care about. As you kind of take a moment, you may have chosen this path, as you start to think, but this seems to be more of a decision of affirmation for the path that you chose yourself, not just because of this arm. Also, to note, your insanity's not going away if you take this arm off, just as a realization.
Oh no, it was more of if Dom believed that would lessen Utham's anger, if that would somehow justify a wrong, he was fully willing to just right then and there literally self-mutilate. But if he thinks it's a deeper thing and that doing that might just go to prove that point to Utham, I think he now wants rid of it. I think there's now a disgust, but he's not going to try to tourniquet his arm to fall, try to do something like he's thinking. But he's definitely not doing great with what has just occurred mentally. Yeah.
As Dom kind of takes a minute and watching Eider finally kind of noticing you as he looks up, seeing you kind of just staring straight at the wall as you deep in thought.
I was going to say Dom would probably still try to leave at least the main banquet hall. I don't know if we were told we're not allowed to leave the banquet itself.
You were not.
I'm
without upsetting Lord Z, but...
I'm gonna hit Dom with the invisible lasso.
I don't know that I'm even looking at the dance floor, dude.
No, you gotta get past me first.
Do I have to roll a counter dance or a reflex save? What do I roll to avoid the lasso, dude?
You know what? Here, I'll respond to that after. As you kind of start to run off, as Eider kind of looks up at you, seeing you heading or kind of jogging off at a quickened pace, not really worried about being heard or seen as you kind of move past, as no one's really paying any attention to you anyways as everything's going on. As you look kind of past by the table, Kez up above looking up at you as he starts kind of still singing, as he starts kind of trying to get your attention. Kez, give me, let's call it a spellcraft check. Dom, let's do a reflex save.
Spellcraft.
Now,
Oh no, I'm
We're-
going up against Dom's good stuff and I'm not good at
we're gonna
spellcraft.
see if Kez suddenly makes a new spell out of the blue as he does this.
You know, I was gonna hope it would be more charisma based, but let's see how this works. Ooh, that's a 10.
Oh, all right.
10. I got a 14. I actually rolled really low, so I still.
It turns
Still-
out my
still high.
spellcraft is +0. I was
Yeah, my
hoping I was
reflex
gonna,
is-
you know, like the charisma thing, like the no, I don't wanna. Come on, like okay, but no.
Yeah.
As you
Oh, no.
watch as he does this, Dom, and as you stare and watch this, and hear what sounds like an actual rope land about 5 feet in front of you, a little concern that Kez just made a spell on the spot kind of flicks through your head, but also the little bit of annoyance of him trying to drag you to come hang out with him also catches your attention.
Yeah, I think Dom just in his bad mental state with like the fight from earlier, the words that stung, and then going to meet with his father and his ruler to attempt to get some guidance, to attempt to relay information, and being not only shut down but basically like heart crushed, like told he is like the worst thing he could be, just sees this, and I think part of him knows it's not Kez trying to, and which is why he doesn't like very much react, but it this feels like a joke to him. He feels like he is in a punchline and this is like a joke to him, and I think Dom's face like just kind of darkens, and he turns away and goes to, you know, get some air before he makes any choices he'll regret in a room full of people that are drunk and having a
As
good time.
As Dom's walking out, Kez starts singing, "People, let me tell you about my best friend."
As Kez kind of starts to
person who loved me to the end.
that's
As he starts doing like a light dance down, Ida kind of slowly following behind as he walks backwards, drawing last bits of the large stone figure. As the two of them seem to follow you out, their lay is beginning to glow blue as you kind of go out, Dom, out into the garden. As you see, Kez and Ida almost seemingly begin to be dragged towards you as the three of you find yourselves now closed off quietly in the garden as Flourish kind of, the wind kind of seems to billow, a fresh scent of lavender and vanilla kind of on the air as you go to kind of stand over by one of the nicer, taller bushes that can kind of keep you separated, kind of heading behind there to take a moment to breathe, hearing Kez still kind of lightly singing, and the two of them kind of head over as well. As the three of you head over, or as the two of you head over, seeing Dom kind of his head slightly poking out from the other side of the bush as you can hear him kind of taking a breath and kind of get the sense of him needing a moment. You see as a tall, kind of white-scaled, large-brained, well-dressed figure kind of walks out as you see Zebril himself kind of looking over at you. The sounds of music kind of echoing as he closes the door, disappearing as he kind of steps out, seeing the three of you and kind of smiles. Dom kind of taking a moment, breathing, and not listening to either of you as they take their second to catch kind of deal with everything. Zebril kind of looks over at Eider and Kez and goes, "You know, in all my memories, the Unfortunate Sons are the only group that ever fights, even when the chips are down and crap has hit the wall and everyone gave up. Do you know that?" As he kind of like ponders with a drink, kind of looking into it. You know, a lot of people don't know this about me, but where I came from, another group claimed a similar name. It's actually why I'm quite fond of you lot. They saw me in a bad situation, the world crumbling around them, everything breaking. God, it was horrible. Imagine fire demons in the air, lava spewing from every lake, the water boiling. Not a single individual alive left that had a kind thought in their soul. Couldn't live with kindness. It was horrible even for me. Imagine what it'd be like for you lot. So he kind of like ponders that for a second again and continues and goes, But when all the cards and chips were down, my life was pushed up against the wall. A giant city made of flipping silver, not unlike that golden one, trying to corner me and eat me. A group of people, a couple of giants and a snowbeard, showed up, held their own, introduced me to my master, showed me there was a chance, even without their friends, even without their family, even without their cared loved ones. They had lost everything, one by one, piece by piece. Every individual they made friends with after coming together killed in front of them by these individuals that wanted the world to end. All of that, and yet they still tried to save me. And me, I was nothing but another predator on the grounds. It's funny that, isn't it? That a group called the Unfortunate Sons would save someone like myself when they had nothing left. Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm insane, but sometimes the world needs people who can take that kind of burden and continue to fight and protect those who can't. I sure wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. And I'm pretty sure a lot of other people wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for you lot. Something to consider as you deal with your emotions. As he kind of turns and starts to walk away and kind of stops. Oh, and by the way, if any of you see Ned, please tell him I know about the shit he took in the waterway. He kind of walks into the doorway, opening to the music and closing behind him.
Son of a bitch! I just turned to Dom and was like, see, this is why I long for death.
Yeah, it's not the other shit.
not
It's
even in the
Ned
room.
shitting.
Dom, you are. You heard all of that. You're on the other side of this tall bush. You heard
Oh, I
everything.
thought Dom exited
No.
the...
Yeah, you
Yeah,
guys, you're out in
didn't
the
go after
front.
you.
Yeah, you're out in the front garden where you just heard all this. Eider and Kez are on the
Dom
other
is-
side of the bush while you were kind of like sitting there breathing, meditating.
I think
Batman
Dom
moving.
clocks that, and just for a brief moment through all the inner turmoil is just to himself mentally like, God damn it, and then goes back to brooding. just a brief moment of like, yeah, Eider, yeah, I understand, and then goes back to being broody in the corner.
As you hear this, though, kind of taking it in, kind of grasping the message to it, the three of you kind of enjoying the peace as you each kind of process and deal with the things at hand, the losses, the troubles, the problems that you've been dealing with, and realizing that each of you have been there for one another, fighting alongside each other every time that things have gone bad, while through funny and stupidity and some of the worst decisions you've ever seen amongst adventuring parties in history, you all can't help but have a nice light chuckle as you realize, God, you know, all those adventuring heroes that you read about in the books must have been just as bad as you lot. And as you begin to kind of bond over that, taking a moment in the solidarity of the situation, the violence that you dealt with together, the brotherly bonds you built up, it may be bad, but even without the backing of Regan Utham, it could be worse. As we fade to black and end session there. We thank you all for watching and hope you enjoyed. We'll see you on the next one.